Sir, go get him, gentlemen.
Ciao for now. All right. Ba-ba-ba-ba.
Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy, Joey Options. And I'm Sharif. And I was told by one of the great construction people in the back that I'm the loud one and you are the quiet one. He asked me why that was.
Yeah.
I told him there's got to be a little bit of yin and yang.
Yeah, you got to be
quiet. What the hell's going on?
Yeah,
right?
what fun is that?
Sorry.
But I mean, don't get it twisted. We get it going around here sometimes too, man. don't count your boy out.
Boom. Let's say what's up to everybody, Joey. Shout out to Adrian. Boosted red spot. What? SJD News, we got Stuart ID. Shout out to BJ Gaming and Austin McVady. JTY Juror, we got Akko 25, Mike DeWriter, A Holt. We got Showtime VB. Shout out to Evan 91 and MF Dangerous. ABF Unlimited and TILL 3Y, something or another. Common Sense, I love that name. Always Yummy Thai Foods Todd. Get it, Buffalo Soldier. Get it, Brad. I see you, Grandmother's Garden and Nonsense. I see you, Bash, as well. I used to have a best friend called Bash. Kirk D in the house as well. Who else, man? We got Spec Ops Trader. Get it, son. We got Douglas Carlson. High Vibrations.
Ooh.
Yeah, I like that. Jerome Nadu, okay. Beef Strogie, Earth UFO, and Rook 78. Good morning to everybody. I hope everybody's having a fantastic morning. The weather is crazy AF in Toronto, and more pleased I could not be. Joseph Wilson, good morning, brother.
Good morning, good morning. Yeah, I mean, it's been a roller coaster a little bit here, but not too bad, like relatively flat. I'll take it. We've just been churning shares on Ethereum, but now we're long some Bitcoin as well, too. Let's break some things down. Yeah, exactly. BJO 9000. I'm not going to repeat that, but we're going to dog some options today.
Oh.
There's for sure about that, brother. Well, we can say it around here. Let's raw dog some options. Let's go. We're not going to do anything naked, though. That's for sure, because selling naked options.
That's crazy.
Very, very dangerous unless you know what you are doing. Okay. But, okay, Bitcoin working out. I figured it's one of the stronger cryptos this morning. But aside from that, we just added to this position. We keep rejecting VWAP, so that's not good. 5-minute. I love this hammer print here. We can see it a little bit more clearly now. The rain is gone right there. But it's probably most likely I'm going to get stopped out of this Ethereum trade. It's just not doing what I want. Now forming a head and shoulders pattern right here. So that's a breakdown, potential bearish pattern. So if it does crack that neckline, we're out of that one. And then also Bitcoin's starting to break down as well a bit on me. But that's okay. We're not going to get too worried about that. Should have took some off at VWAP. And to be honest with you, we had so many opportunities, but I was just looking for a little bit bigger of a move here. So let's break down these Ethereum trades. This may seem a little choppy, but it is what it is. So boom, we enter the trade here, we add to the position, and then I only take about 10% off. So nothing substantial. Then I get stopped out, break even, try again, double it up for the break of this high, stopped out. Same thing, same narrative right here. Try one more time, stopped out, and then boom, we get this move, and I take half off at the peak, looking for a move into 33, and then we get stopped out, break even. And so at that point, we were positive on the day, and then now I'm in this other potential joke of a trade that's not going to work. So it is what it is. We'll figure things out. I do like the crypto trade this week. Maybe tomorrow things will get rolling a little bit better. But now let's focus on what we cooking up on Bitcoin. So same thing, 5-minute hammer. And we have the volume. It's not like an outstanding isolation, so that's something that we got to keep an eye out on. But I do like our chances of breaking through. As long as we hold those lows, then I think we'll be all right. But right now, Ethereum is not doing what you want. And there's no point in me holding on to this trade right here, considering how far out of the money I am on. So I'll just flatten that, take a loss on it. So now we're slightly red, but that's okay. We'll see what Bitcoin is. We break this low, I'll hop out of that one. And if the crypto space wants to continue to the south side, maybe we got to look for the path of least resistance, and that's downward, and there goes Bitcoin. So there's no point in me holding on to this for much longer, considering my risk to reward is essentially gone now. So I have to wait to come all the way back up to here just to get break even, considering I am now about 10 cents OTM. So tight stops on these. So yeah, it is what it is. We'll be patient. Neckline broke on the head and shoulders on Ethereum. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more downside here, guys.
All right, guys. You guys keep talking about open. I didn't have it up on the side charts, but now it looks like I'm going to have to keep it up because you guys have been asking for a long. Yeah, okay. So you guys have merit here. It's not up the biggest amount on the day. It's up 12 1/3, 12 1/4, zigging and zagging. But the breakout is real fast and furious, and it is getting extended away from the 10 EMA on the 5. So we're going to have to keep an eye on Opendoor. I'm in a couple of positions, which I'll get to in 1 second, but I just wanted to make sure that I covered this for you guys. So let's look at some TA quickly over here. Let's center up this chart. I just want to ID the areas of support and resistance. What are you going to embarrass me for, man? All right, here we go. Now, Joey, it looks like we're definitely going to get some resistance. As I see, no, bro, I love it. 390, likely a resistance level, even though we weaseled above 4 back on the 19th. So expect some resistance here into 390, but there's a ways away because we got a high day 62. So that's 30 some odd pennies you could bamboozle out of the market. Just got to play your cards right on that. So we're going to keep an eye here on Opendoor. Let me get to the positions that I've got on now. You can see on the screen there, I've got EQ long at 39s and IMRX at the $0.25, a little bit less, 23. We took a couple of outs on this. There's a chart on IMRX. To me, this is very respectful of either the 10 or the 20. When it's below VWAP, it looks like it's respecting the 20. When it's above VWAP, it looks like it's respecting the 10. That's how I'm going to move forward on this stock. So we're going to see how this one does. EQ as well. Nice little bull flag. This one a little bit lighter on volume. And as you can observe, the volume profile on the bottom of the chart there, the volume comes in spurts. So you can see this outline candle at 1020, which is green, and this other outlining candle at 1050, redsicles. So be on the lookout here. Be on the lookout for continuation. Go IMRX, you little bad word. Let's keep going with that one. That's a third beak wetter there, and there it goes again, Joey. Continuing to break out here. We'll wet the beak, and now we're going to set up a little bit higher at 38s, come what may. Now let's also look. Where is that one at? At EQ, zigging and zagging towards that $0.50. Where'd we bet the beak? Give me my money. That's all I want. So there we go. We're going to take 147.5, then we're going to post up at 149 to see if we can weasel, bamboozle, whatever, extract some more money out of this one, up 28.5%. I'm talking about EQ. We'll give you more details on it in a second. But it looks like it might be the IMRX show, Joey, because this one, it looks like it's breaking out right now. So I want to keep my eye on this one. I had a dip trade here to defend what I perceive to be the breakout area, which is between 410 to 415. I was gunning more for 415. It didn't even give me that, man. It retraced into 420, so I couldn't get all the shares that I wanted. Now, let me go over to APM over here. So I had a failed trade on it, very quick, very small loss. We got in at 40. We stopped out at 24. So we'll lose quick 15 pennies, excuse me, on that super quick. But it's dropping down now into the 20 moving average. Now, the 20 moving average is awfully close to that $3 area. And as you can observe, this current candle on the 5 is actually defending $3. So I always get caught between two minds when the volume weighted average price and the whole dollar psychological area of support are close. I could realistically and theoretically punch in, at the 20 and then a DCA into the 3. Sure, you can do all that, but I just rather be more accurate from the start than have to DCA and then, end up might be taking a bigger loss here. So here's the deal. Yeah, Tisha, I see you, girl. She's sitting tight. She's in an APM. I was in the chat earlier, Tisha, while the big boys were on, and I saw you were calling it out. So good on you for that. So I'm going to keep my eye here on APM. I'd like to be able to weasel into this one. 150% above VWAP. It's got the goods, and it's already showing you that it's outperforming the other ones on the day. So here's the deal, Joey. We're getting in, okay? We're going to get in. And we're going to defend into 3. So we got 18s, not the greatest price. So we're going to go, let's go 305 and to defend that $3 area. Now, here's the deal. Loses 3, I'm out. But if it comes in to the 2 mid-80s where VWAP is hanging out, we're going to get back in. But we're going to stop out at 3. I'm not going to keep adding into the mid-80s. I'd rather just take the L and then allow it to set up in the right way. Quickly back to IMRX before we send back to your boy Joey Options. This one is about to take out that high of the day, so probably behooves me to throw in another beak wetter over here. I'm going to throw it at 45. Come what may.
All right, guys. Yeah, Artemis, what's up, brother? I hope everyone's going on. That's bright in here, so I had to throw these shades on.
Get it, Joey.
But yeah, let's see what we got going on. We're involved in some Walmart now. I do like what we're experiencing on IBIT. Couple hammer candles right here, so some bottoming or topping tail candles. So let's see if we can hold these levels. If we can't, then I don't really love the long that much anymore. Adding into this Walmart position as well too, so we'll touch on that. Second attempt on Walmart here, so let's see if we can start chefing up something. Yeah, we're gonna be patient on this.
Joey.
I like what Tesla's doing here as well.
Okay.
I thought maybe we'd get a breakup, but sometimes when you just suck, it just really sucks. So yeah, there it is on Tesla daily. Just range bound right here, guys. So for me, when I see a stock like this, you're just not overly in play, in my opinion, right? You have those days where you pop up, pop down, whatever it is, but this is just range bound trading. So yeah, maybe we can get a breakout and punch through some of these key levels, because that's kind of what I'm looking for. But it looks like it wants to head to the south side, like the overall market. Maybe we're getting a rotation into staples. That's why I'm going to continuously add into this Walmart trade. So maybe we can run into 100. I think that's going to be my primary target on this one, but there goes the overall market. Q's breaking through VWAP, NVDA leading the way, and to be honest with you, I just took my coping mechanism is if you've taken too many attempts on a ticker, I just take it off all screens, and then that's it. I'm not even going to pay any more mind into it, because clearly my thesis isn't valid throughout the session to make it, or not to make it, but to see if it's going to continue to climb higher, especially after yesterday's session. We've seen a little bit of weakness in Bitcoin and then some relative strength into Ethereum. So for me personally, I took like 4 attempts on this name, had a couple winners, 3 losers, and then that's it. It's like, all right, AC Slater, see you later, and we'll find something else to trade. XPEP is really, really strong today as well, so just keep that in mind. That's looking pretty good. So those levels are not holding, and yeah, I mean, crypto space taking it on the nose here. So yeah, that's slightly bloody as it redsicles, a lot of redsicles that we're seeing here in Bitcoin and the crypto space. Q's just mirroring essentially what NVDA is doing, and then I'm going to keep my eye on Tesla just in case it wants to maybe trade outside of all of the other ones, but other than that, let's just rock and roll with Walmart. Maybe the tech space is just wanting to cool off for a little bit, and reasonably so considering the runs that we've just been on for the past little while, but here it is. You can see me start to get aggressive on this Walmart, and by all means, I have to be prepared to sit in this trade for quite some time, because it's not like that momentum style of a mover, right? It's more of a slow grind, and we're down 4%, but with some of those numbers that Sharif presented us this morning, I like our chances here for Walmart to kind of put in somewhat of a rebound day.
Oh, my monitor just decided, look, Joseph, I've been on for a long time. I'm going to take a break.
You take it? That's fair.
Yeah,
That's
you know,
fair.
well, we gotta show some love to the monitor over here, Joey. All right, I'm just canceling this order, and I want to move it up. I'm going to put an order at 420. Yeah, I know. All right, so we're going to throw that there. We'll actually put it at 21. Okay, so let's update some of these positions. I'm in APM. I'm in a lot of positions right now. So I'm in 5 positions. We're going to go to Adara. She's got breaking news, and then I'll update you guys when we get back.
Yeah, Fed's hammock here being very hawkish, saying that she does not see an imminent case for cutting rates based on the current data. And with the data now, she would not see a case for a September cut. She does say, though, that apparently she thinks the Fed has a small distance to go to get neutral. And she's also stressing here the importance of the unemployment rate. But yeah, I think the biggest thing here, Fed's hammock saying not only is she not seeing an imminent case for cutting rates, but she's also not seeing that September rate cut that we know a lot of people have been really looking forward to. So again, some hawkish comments coming from Fed's hammock today, guys. Back to you.
Thank you, Adira. All right, let me just update everybody.
Go ahead.
Okay, so APM, we're in at the 18 penny area. We did not get the add at 05s, but we scalped up already multiple times into 30s, okay? So this one, it's a bit of a bamboozler. We just opened up another 5-minute candle. Let's see if this one can make a new high relative to the previous one. But we are below the 10 EMA now, and that is something I need to be alive to. I've been talking about this a lot more. When we lose the 10 EMA north of the volume-weighted average price, oftentimes, and what I've been noticing lately is we're using it as resistance. So let's not overstay our welcome on this one, knowing full well that there are still other levels that we can look at. So that's APM. IMRX scalped up a lot already. It's coming back down, comes back down into 22s, of course, true to form. I have my dip trade to add of the 10 EMA at 21s, doesn't fill, so we'll keep tabs on that. What's this one? PGEN. This one we've scalped up a few, but this one looks like it's destined for a bit of a deeper retracement. It's still holding that 70 penny area, which is the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. So I don't mind adding into this position actually, because it's right at the 10 EMA and I can get out a little bit lower. So let me go ahead and adjust my previous stop here on PGEN to account for this latest addition. So I'd like to take it out. Yeah, we'll just go like that. And then how many shares do we have? Good. All right, so then we can just go perfectly. There we go. All right, so we've taken care of that. Let's go back now to EQ. Scalped up a bunch on EQ. Moved up my stop from 34 into 36. There does seem to be a buyer at 38 on EQ. So if it loses it, well, then I don't want to be part of it. Now, Open. This is the one that's got me in a little bit of trouble. It's still above the 10 EMA on the 5. I don't want to add anything into here until I see how this one's going to react. Is it going to defend the 10 EMA, which is also that $0.50 area? If it defends it, I'm going to add into this position. Simple as that. I think this one might have the juice to get back into that 90 penny area. So those are the 5 positions I have on, Joey. We're going to try to manage all of them as best we can. Obviously, use hard stops. That's how I kind of... that's how I'm able to manage these positions all at once, because sometimes you don't see when it loses the level. So that's it. What do you got?
Absolutely, yeah. All right, let's go Walmart here. Starting to chef up a little bit. Let's add a little bit, just because it's that type of day. We got to try to make our winners a little bit bigger than our losers. So there it is, bang. We're going to some key levels, and I think I have a price target. Well, I know I have a price target of around $100 on this. That's going to be my final. Well, I'll take a large portion on probably 70 to 80% if we can get there. But like I just mentioned not too long ago, I think it's going to be more of a grind. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out on this. Adding to that position. Let's go. Hopefully the pullbacks aren't too deep, because that's like it's my kryptonite essentially, but that's all right. XPEV, boom, nice move here in XPeng. That's looking really good here as well too, guys. So moving against the market. So yeah, a lot going on. Tesla did break down, which is unfortunate, but you can see the similarities in a lot of these tech names patterns. But I mean, the Qs, the SPY, NVDA, and Tesla. And I haven't even looked at some of the other mag names, just because I want to focus on some of these earnings reports, because I think that we can maybe get the ball rolling on those. So that's Tesla. As for, that's Walmart and XPEV, but let's see what Google is up to, considering I haven't even talked to them. I don't know if Katina Man was trading Google today. For some reason, I had a feeling he was, but never assume, right? You always want to be certain. Reload ETH trade long seems to be bouncing. I'm not even looking at it anymore. Big Sky 69. I've taken my attempts on it, so therefore I am not going to swing anymore. But there it is. Google, kind of look at. Oh, yeah, hey, man, upside.
I love the smile on your face when you understood what I was talking. Like, hey, man.
Upside down pineapple team. I'm not a part of that team. So, anyways, if you want to, there's a good place in Mexico I can recommend for those who are about that life.
Good place here, bro.
Is there?
Not that I would know.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Not that I would know. No, like, really, I don't. I've never been there.
Yeah,
I just want to make that very clear.
Okay, very clear. You've never been there. But yeah, it's called Temptations. Great place. My friends go there and stuff.
Temptation.
Yeah, so it's called Sick Resort.
Where are my Persians in the chat at? Are there any Persians in the chat?
Yeah.
Arash, come on. Temptation. Go ahead.
Yes, that's all right. So, yeah, there it is. Google. And then let's take a look at the Amazonian one to see what its intraday chart is looking like. Is it similar to the rest of the tech names? I'm going to assume yes. So there it is. I mean, it's a dice fest up in here, and you can see the first half an hour of the market was that, right? It was nothing short of just pure choppery. So yeah, we'll see what we got going on, man. What?
Some of the comments in the chat.
What's an upside down?
Fantastic. You guys are doing real good today. I appreciate it. All right, guys, we're doing a freaking live on Open, man. We're taking out all the levels right now. There's only one beak wetter that's gone unfilled, and it's 1 penny above the current price. 63s. I'm waiting at 64s. Let's see what this one has to offer us. 64 is the high of the day, so I do anticipate some resistance at this level. Let's watch and see what happens. Here we go with APM. This is pulling in the VWAP. This is my addition to add. So we're going to move up now our position on APM into, there we go. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we'll get everything out if it fails this level. which is this many. All right, good. So what's our position on that? 306s. Okay, so we got to set up some orders on this, Joey, because things are getting crazy over here. So let's set up some beak wetters here, and then we're going to set up in the mid-teens. All right, we're going to go to Adara. She's got some for us, and I'm going to tell you more about some of these other trades.
Unity pushing higher here. Q is the ticker for this one. James Altucher, who is a hedge fund manager and venture capitalist, he has a newsletter. He gives Unity, quote, the highest level of recommendation. So positive note on you from James Altucher. Back to you.
You looking pretty good here as well, too, guys. Like, it might want to get the ball rolling, but we know how this stock moves. To be honest with you, if I were to go back and look at all my data, my accuracy on this stinking thing is just probably horrendous. I don't know. But yeah, I like this. You can hold that base at 23 bucks, and then now you're sitting on top of this range, so you open there. So that could be a positive sign for INTC to get rolling. But then you go back to yesterday's session, and it's like, bang. You know what I'm going to say on that one? Sucks to suck. And then there it is, INTC, just a straight flush, and then just goes chop mode. So yeah, let's wait on this one. I most definitely would recommend starting really, really small, but I'm just sitting here kind of talking myself into some of these trades because I want to try to catch up breakout because I think there will be a couple opportunities here, Shrew.
All right, man. What the hell? What just happened here with PGEN? Oh, really? Okay. Okay, I just got stopped out of PGEN. I didn't even realize that, but yeah, so that will be a negatory one for me, but that will be the first negative one on the day. So we're doing well on all the other ones, but PGEN got stopped out of that. It looks like it did break the 10, and that's what I was kind of aiming for there. So we'll keep tabs on that, but Opendoor is quite aggressive. It takes out the high of the day. It's now 66 instead of 64. Let's go ahead and set up some more beak wetters. You know, if I'm going to be in the high 60s, where we're going to be waiting. So that's what we'll set up for there at 69 and see what we can get in and around that area. IMRX, I added to this position, and I'm kind of happy with the add. We've got 21s on now. Probably behooves me to weasel out of some of this at the $0.25 and then set up some more in the high 20s, low 30s. Let's go ahead and do that right now. So we'll see if we can get into that 35 penny area. That'll be the last little stop that I put. Back into 28s we go. To 2 penny spread though on IMRX, but it fills me anyway. Good luck, good luck. Let's see if we can get that 30 fill anytime soon. There are other small cap gappers, okay? So Tisha's telling me about THAR. Tisha, you know THAR was moving bigly yesterday. Shout out to the Donald one. This one broke down a little bit though. As you can see, we had a monster move from 8 a.m. and from that 8 a.m. initiation to the high at around 5:30 in the aftermarket. Joey, we were up 374%. Not giving too much back today though, okay? And that's what I was saying to Joey off camera. I want to set up an algo to pick up on some of these small cap gappers that don't give back the majority of the move the following day, because most of them do. Anyway, this is halted to the upside now. I'm talking about THAR into $5.30. It did breach the volume weighted average price, but Tisha, it is still below that 425 AM print that went about 6 high teens, 618, 619. So it's going to have to clear that level for me to get involved. I just won't break my rules anymore. So we'll see if this one wants to cooperate or what's the situation. THAR is the one I'm talking about there, Joey.
Oh, THAR. Oh, who's this? Okay, the Q's just bouncing right back here. So yeah, that's looking pretty good. But there we go. Walmart's still cooking up. We're going to be patient on this. I told you it's going to be a grind. So I have to be able to diamond hands this and sit through some probably some pullbacks here. But I wouldn't be surprised if we get some volume to kick in as well too. Considering it's a NYSE stock, these things move a little bit. They do move significantly different than with some of the Nasdaq names. Take longer to get the ball rolling. But when volume steps in, comes in with vigor, and that's what I'm kind of waiting for here. So I would just think it would be to show. But yeah, if there's anything you guys want to look at, just let me know. Let's go over some options chain stuff. I'm curious to all my options folks too. Let's have a little conversation about this. Do you believe that it's time for near dated? And when I mean near dated, closer dated, I'm talking about 3 weeks out, like a covered call system. And the only reason why I'm trying to touch on this here is actually, no, let me do this. Is because we can just see how the Qs in the Nasdaq are trading. And I mean, I feel like we're kind of, obviously we are toppy, but if we go out to the daily, I like our risk profile, right? So if you have a defined top, I like how you can just write calls north of that specific peak or that pivot point, and then you can collect premium. And then what I'm referring to here, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Sharif, take it from me.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm watching APM, guys. It's zigging. Bless you, Joey. Oh, that was deep. I'm watching to see if it's going to lose 3. It's still ahead of the volume weighted average price. It still hasn't touched VWAP, which is what I'm really focusing on right now to see if that $3 buyer-ish, and it's not exactly $3 buyer, continues to kind of prevent us from descending anymore. I've only taken out one little beak wetter there after the ad into 10s, so we'll see if this one's got the juice to kind of head back up. But there's another one that I want to bring your attention to. It's not the biggest mover, but it's a former convict, okay? Pesky. PSKY. I made a whole bunch of jokes about this one being a pesky little bugger because I was red on it. But look at this chart pattern, man. You can't complain with that. When was I trading this piece of, you know what? Because usually I have the, there. You can clearly see that this was the day. This was a monster move off that $11 area, went all the way to 17. So that was the day. It's back again today. It's going to take 16 here, Joey. 1596 high. It's breaking out.
All right, cool. So good stuff. All right, so what I want us to kind of correlate here, let's use an example of something that
You're muted. You're muted. Yeah. Go ahead. Assassinos.
All right, cool. Yeah, so let's kind of use an example with something that I'm positioned in as well, because I don't want to just talk to talk, right? So what we can do here, and I'm not saying, like, you got to think about your position. We're not going to collect the most premium here on Ethereum, but the thing is, though, I want to note around $36, I think there's a potential to right. So let's pull up our options chain here, and then we're going to bring this about a month out. Are we here? Okay, cool. So let's go to a month out and then see what we're just going to collect on that front, and then if it's even worth it, right? Because if you have some temporary downside, then I think that you can collect some premium, and even if it's only a couple of dollars, it's like, so what? That's just going to add, that's passive income, and that can add to your shares, especially if it expires worthless, because that's just going to be cash in your account that you get to collect, and then if it continues to sell, you can do the same thing again, but in the same time, you can start to buy more shares as well. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing around this $37 strike price. We're going to collect $131, right? That's 36 days from now. Okay, well, like, Joe, that's not that much, but you got to take into consideration here our probability of profit. So this is around. So this is a 0.35 delta, but look at it in the inverse way, right? So we have about a 65% chance that this contract is going to expire absolutely worthless. But we're not aiming to go all the way to expiry. We want to kind of close that out a week before. So if we have the ability to collect $100, $75, even a little bit more, 1.25, then that's just passive income in our account, and then we can just grab more shares at lower prices as well too. So here it is. I like this 36 strike price, collect $156. So that's starting to increase. So for me, I don't even need to look at the chart. Ethereum's continuing to slide here. So $156 with a 65% chance of collecting the whole amount of premium, but also what we can do is we can sell multiple as well too, right? So if you have a couple hundred shares in, for example, in which I do, we get to collect $300, and then come a week out, if we haven't closed anywhere close to in the money, then guess what? We're going to just close the position, buy back those contracts, and then keep that premium. And then after that, Sharif, we're sitting on a couple $100 more in passive income. We can just buy more shares after at that point. So that's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm curious for all my options traders, have you guys started to implement this system, considering now that the chances of a rate cut are slowly starting to decrease, and that can put some more potential downside in the overall market. And if you don't want to lose all of your unrealized gains, that's a passive way to kind of mitigate that.
Okay, Joey, log into Unity. Adara, what's going on with crypto today? What's Assassino said?
Bitcoin here at a very perilous place. We are holding, as of right now, support around that 112.4 area. That is slightly above that previous all-time high and previous support around that 112,000 level. But this formation here a little bit distressing. We are seeing clearly a struggle to get back above in a salient way that 414,500 level after breaking back below. Not a ton of news I was seeing in the crypto space today, so just keep an eye here on BTC. Let's take a look at some of these other related assets. Ethereum still looking pretty bullish here on the daily chart. Nice bounce here. We made a base just above 4,000 over the last few days today. Unlike Bitcoin, we are not retesting that base at all, continuing to try to push higher. Let's take a look at Solana. Solana looking more similar to Ethereum. We're seeing, again, in the case of Solana, multiple times touching that 176 level. Today, we don't even get near it low as that we're coming to right now, around that 181 level. Let's take a look at Cardano as well. ADA, USD. This one looking a little bit more similar to Bitcoin, where we're trying to maybe retest that previous support. But either way, it looks like Ethereum and Solana of some of these major coins or crypto names, faring a little bit better than, say, Bitcoin. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. So yeah, there it is, guys. It's just kind of me thinking out loud and what we can do to kind of just save our unrealized gains. And if they really start to go against you, just close it, because price appreciation within the underlying is always going to outvalue any amount of premium you collect. All right, so just keep that in mind, Tree.
Okay, sure. Jameson, I don't like Wolf Brother. It's below volume weighted average price, and it's also, I do believe it's below the pre-market high. He's telling me about Terrolf. That's WULF. But there was another one that someone brought to my attention, SLQT. This one is above the volume weighted average price. So let's have a look at this one. Then I'm going to update my positions in a second. I've narrowed them down to 2, no longer 5. All right, so SLQT, what is this one we got on this one? Oh, baby. What is this rocket ship? What is this up on the day? 40%? How come I don't have this on my... Where the hell is this on my scanner, man? Like, why doesn't it show up on my scanner? That's crazy. Assassino, I need answers. Like, okay, for whatever reason, this didn't show up on my scanner. I'm kind of shocked by that. Who are we going to replace here? I'm going to take off THAR until it gets above VWAP, because we're running out of real estate here on the side chart. So SLQT, this looks good. I'm quite disappointed that I didn't have eyes on this. This has all the ingredients that I'm looking for a small cap gapper. SLQT is the ticker. Let's do some TA. This is the 15. Let's flip to the 5. Pardon me. All right, there we go. So more respect by another small cap gapper for the 10 EMA. Losing it now, though. So let's see what this one does. Is the money fill with this one between the 10 and the 20? It's trying to get back above the 10. I need to see it get above the 10. The reason I'm out of APM, you'll see on the position board, is because it can't get back above the 10. It lost the 10 EMA, and now whatever algo system or trend following system is trading this is using the 10 EMA as resistance. I don't want to see that with SLQT. I'm going to need proof that this thing is going to weasel back above the 10 on a closing basis. And if that means getting a worse price, that means getting a worse price. Simple as that. But I need confirmation. It's above it right now, but it hasn't closed. We've got 3 minutes left on this candle, this 5-minute candle. That's it. So you'll see here with APM, I'm out of this one because it's using the 10 moving average on the 5 as resistance. So that's not my move. So we'll scalp. We'll be positive on it, but we'll get the hell out of there and not look at it again. IMRX, I flattened out because this one came back into my entry price, and it's putting in lower highs with like kind of this bottoming pattern. I want to say 420 possible flat bottom. If I end up being wrong, I end up being wrong. I can get back in around that third of a dollar. Yeah, the third of a dollar. What else are we doing over here? We're still holding EQ, nothing doing there. This one's looking like it's either going to bull flag or flat bottom break. I've got my stop ready to go at 36. We've scalped up a little bit on it, but we still have a couple of unfilled orders. OPEN continues to trend though, okay? It continues to trend quite well. It's not at the high of the day. It's at 64. The high of the day is 66. So this is a good one. It's holding the 10 EMA specifically. And we know that, you know, just based on TA, the last major price level that we currently have to look at, seeing that we're in the 60s now, is the 90s. So I do anticipate, you know, maybe some strength into the 90s. Now, I don't think it's going to be in a straight line. So you're going to have to deal with a little zig and a little zag, which is never really a great feeling. All right, I think I've seen all that I wanted to see here with SLQT. So we're going to get into this one, SLQT. That's on what, the New York? Yeah, it's on the New York. Okay, so SLQT on the New York. Let's wait for this candle to close. It's got another minute or so. And look at that. It breached the 10 EMA, but being pushed right down below it as we don't have that much time left on this. Yeah, let's see if it can close above the 10 EMA. That's really what I'm waiting for. I want to see if it can close above there because it's preceded by a doji candle, right? So you've got everything you need to see. You have that 60 level of initial resistance, and it comes into 60. It puts a doji candle. Subsequent candle makes a new high. All that's fine and dandy, but it's still below the 10 EMA. So here's what we can do. We're going to get in right now, and we're going to put our stop below the doji candle low at 55s. Go ahead, Adira.
Yeah, just keep an eye here on the market. I'm going to call this a little bit of a Fed minute, if you will, because I do have some Fed-related updates. We do have a member of the Department of Justice saying that they're planning on investigating Fed's Lisa Cook over these mortgage practices. We know these were flagged yesterday by Bill Pulte, so keep an eye on that. And then also in terms of Fed-related commentary from the Trump administration, trade advisor Peter Navarro saying that Fed's Powell is basically, I guess, biased against Donald Trump. So I'll try to find the exact quote here. Oh, he said that Powell's actions are extremely anti-Trump, and it's so anti-Trump it's unsettling, and it's causing concern. So yeah, more commentary here on the Fed. If I get any more specifically about the mortgage investigation to Fed's Cook, I'll let you guys know. Back to you.
Concern, yeah. Are you concerned, Joseph? It's unsettling.
I'm concerned I might sneeze here again. We have a $5 super chat. AGL has done great for me over the last 2 or 3 weeks since the CEO stepped down. Great potential gapped or grab maybe great potential gapped. But yeah, Skeebs, nice. Thank you for that very much. Much appreciated. Let's take a look at AGL and see what we
too much like ADO.
ADL, yeah. We don't compare our goatness to this.
Goatness.
So there it is. No, that's good that it's working out for you. I mean, these biotech stocks aren't really in my favor, but if you've been trading this for the past couple of weeks, especially off this, oh, wow, I really like that, to be honest with you, Skeebs. This is a nice hammer candle, and like this is like picture perfect. This is an epitome of essentially volume price analysis. You have a massive gap down, then you have an insane volume print, and then an indecision print at hammer doji at the low, and then sure enough, look, you just climb. It doesn't break that. This is what Gorb and I are looking for every day on an intraday basis, and even for me personally on swing trades as well too. So that's a really good look. I wouldn't be surprised if you feel a little bit more of a gap, but just watch out just in case it starts to curl back over there, Sheep.
All right, man. All right. I'm just watching APM because this one's breaking out again. It's above the 10 EMA. It's not breaking out. What did we get there? We got 22s. Okay, it's not a great price. Let's set some profit takers. It's really having trouble churning above this $0.25, and there's a seller at like every penny. I'm going to need this thing to break out and really squeeze everybody. I'm going to flatten out here, break even. That's not what I want. That's not what I'm in it for. I'm not in it to, take pennies at a time. It's got to be a little stronger than that. Now, if it comes in, it comes in. Fantastic. If it doesn't, that's all right, too. Let's go to Opendoor, though, because this is breaking out, and now it's at 69. That's where my level is, but there's a seller here at 69 that we can't shake. There it is. He's gone. 70s now, so we're doing nicely here on Opendoor. In at 54. 71s now on Opendoor. These are all new day's highs, okay? So here we go. Let's go Opendoor, baby. Let's see how high this one wants to get. Again, I have a bias here that it probably goes into the 90s, if not more. And the reason I say that is because that's what the technicals showed on the 15. That's my bias there. So we're gonna see if it can do that. EQ, the other one I got on 39s were break even, but I am worried about the higher low situation here on EQ. It does feel like this is a flat bottom break candidate. It could be, and it might not be. It's bull flagging above VWAP. That's the good news. The bad news is it's slowed down substantially in terms of price ascent, and it's got a key level of support that it keeps retracing into. That's the perfect formula for a flat bottom break. And I don't know if I want to be part of that flat bottom break, right? Thank you, Neil. Right? But yeah, that's what I'm talking about right now. That's all I've got on. Let's look at SLQT, that we got that one on as well. We punched in literally at the highs, looking for this one to hold. I've given it to the bottom of this doji candle here. If it loses it, we'll lose 6 quick pennies, which I'm okay with. Otherwise, we're just gonna let this one go. IMRX, let's go back to that. PGEN and IMRX are both breaking out again, okay? I got out of IMRX too quickly. That was a mistake on my part. What I'm waiting for here is a break above that 31 area. In fact, I'm going to set up a script order for a 31 break. That would be a new local area high. Obviously not the 42 high. So let's go 30. Oh, wow. It's going to take it out, Joey. Let's go. Is that a buy? No, it's a sell. So we want to go 432, and then we're going to buy. So we'll go 435. And yeah, there it is. So we'll put the script there. So if it does break, then we'll take that. It looks like it is going to break out, though, for the moment. That's it. Oh, come on, you piece of APM. It's just too much chop and churn on this one. It's still putting in highs. It's not showing me the right thing. Here we go, Joey. Look at it. It's taking out levels 27. Here we go. We're gonna take out 30 soon. Looks like on APM. Yeah, now we're getting some buying. I don't know about APM. I just don't think I have the right read on this, guys. And I see a double top as well at 30 from back in 9:55 and 10 o'clock. So, yeah, that's not the read I'm looking for on APM. So.
Hands off. See you later.
Off.
Yeah, see you later. Well,
Yeah,
get out of here, APM. We don't want any of that nonsense around here. All right, guys. Healthcare sector, top performing of the day, up about 7/10. And then we have the energy sector, up about a quarter. Material sitting in that show place, guys. A quarter as well, 0.23 to be exact. And the bottom three is real estate, down about a third. And then we have consumer discretionary, down 0.5%. And then consumer staples, something that I'm in here right now. And it's not looking too good for your boy, but I mentioned it's definitely a chop game here in these NYSE stocks, and Walmart's not your average intraday trader as well too. So you got to be prepared to sit through a lot of this kind of nonsense and lower volume until the New York Stock Exchange decides to want to pick up, all right? So just keep that in mind. And then also let's take over the past week, the best performing average here, guys, major average. So everything is negative on the day, and obviously the name that's the leader, usually the Qs, that being said, obviously we get a rotation between all of them, but I mean the Nasdaq has been most definitely strong and outperforming quite a bit. It is the most down in the past week, about 2.6%, and then the small caps, IWM, down about 2.25, and then SPY down about 1.125 there, and then we have the Dow down about a fifth of percent. So I mean, at the end of the day, in the past week, Sharif, we got all of them are red, so that's not too good of a look. And then in the past month, we got the Qs just hanging on by a thread as well too, guys. So just keep your eyes out on this. And then the IWM is actually the strongest performing one in the past month. So yeah, there it is. If you're looking for some relative strength, just keep an eye on some of the top performing sectors right there, brother.
All right, we want to look at NEO.
Yeah,
for
NEO's
Mike.
moving.
So I realize that the Chinese EVs are uber strong. Obviously not that hot garbage Liado, but XPEV and NEO. I don't know where Zeeker's at. Show me yourself, Zeeker. Are you up on the day, or are you fledgling as well? You're fledgling little Zeeker. Holy, what? This thing's $30? Jeez. $7 2/3 billion market cap. Sorry, I'm digressing, but you know, I have attention deficit. Yeah, who knows what they're calling it these days. Is it ADD? Is it ADHD? Anyway, let's go to NEO and do a little TA. So clearly, you know, the 5-minute chart shows a whole bunch of respect for the 10 EMA, which makes sense. When something's trending like this, this is typically where it does find a level of support. So my first inclination to say to you, Mike, is your buy order shadows the 10 EMA, and if it loses perhaps the 20, if you can stomach that kind of risk as whatever your trading style is, then that would be my out. But clearly there's a whole bunch of support at the 10 EMA. I'd be watching for tops and try to avoid punching or getting into the position when you're extended away from the 10 EMA, because typically you'll have some sort of reversion close to, if not at, the 10 EMA. So I would say pack your patience for that. Let me know what you get. Mark Susi wants me to look at UNH. I typed in UHN because I was walking down University and University Health Network, and they have UHN everywhere. It kept reminding me of UNH. Yeah, anyway. Little Toronto story there for you. UNH, Joey. This is more like of Adara's pick here. So maybe we'll get Adara to chime in a little bit on UNH. But I see a great breakout. Shout out to Nimrod, who's printing up multiple storms on that call.
I think he said he punched out of it now.
He punched?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
when you're up,
when you're up
that
bring
much,
in a quarter, you're
well, there you
good,
go.
You know what I mean?
I mean, who can complain about that?
No.
This is a great breakout level. I would have said, you know, definitely look for some resistance at 303, given that the implied balance high got into that 303, then dropped to 297, but it looks like you've cleared it. And in fact, once you did clear 303, it looks like for about 20 minutes or so, you in fact used 303 as support. So I'd be punching in off the 10 EMA. Adara, if you're free for a second, I'd like to get your analysis possibly on UNH, how you're viewing this, because you trade this a lot more than me.
Yeah, I mean, I like this one as a long off the open. Unfortunately, I did not get said long because it was just this type of chop action off the open I do not like to see. To try it as a short didn't work. I think right now, though, I think unless you're in it already, it might be kind of hard to enter because just look at these, like, we'll get this drop, then we'll get this massive, like, engulfing candle to the upside, then we'll drop. Like, I think it is generally trending higher, but I feel like it's one that's kind of hard to enter unless you got in basically at this 300-ish breakout over here, or maybe this previous high of day breakout around that 303.25. I think right now it is a bit of a choppy one, that is for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think, like as Neil said, we're holding onto that 300 general level pretty well, but again, I think it's one that unless you're already in it, it might be either difficult to chase or just not worth chasing where it is right now. I'll zoom out a little bit. I'll look at like the 15. Let's do the 30. For a little bit more context. Yeah, I mean, on the 30, it looks like we're actually right now coming into potentially some resistance. 307.45 was yesterday's high, and it was some, if you go back to the post-market on, that would be Monday night. Or was it Tuesday night? Either way, there's some support that could potentially form resistance that we're coming into. So let's watch out here for that 307 halves level. That could actually be pretty interesting. That's my take.
Amazing. Thank you, Adira. As detailed as it gets there. So, yeah, there you go, Mark Susi. You got two for one.
2 for 1. I mean, we used to get that for lunch back
pizza.
Yeah, shout out to them. It's still the biggest slices here in Toronto. Obviously, yeah, still obviously hot garbage pizza, but at the end of the day, you get your bang.
You mean you don't like it, Joey?
No, I'm not the biggest fan of 2 for 1, man. I need that quality oven baked stuff. All right, guys. Yeah, let's see what we got cooking up. We added to this Walmart trade once again, so that was another 33% add up here, looking for the break of this key pivot at 98.60, and then sure enough, look at the strength within the tape. So yeah, let's see. Oh no, that's not good. Yeah, so there it is. It was displayed there for a second, but you can see them step right back in. And I mean, with this market just chopping around, you have the TQs trading within a $2 range. So if I can get a break above this, maybe I just have to abandon thesis and take some off and start locking in some profit instead of trying to eliminate all losses in one trade, considering boom, 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 and you can just see the weakness right there. So, okay, you get a little bit stepping back in, some more stepping back in. So maybe they can be intrigued about this. I think we do have the ability to kind of break through this pivot. But again, what do I know? I can only sit in this trade and then hopefully allow it to work out for me, all right? So KC526, what's up, KC? You've been killing it these days. So grateful for today for Trader TV. You've always been my strong support. You all are brilliant, true superheroes. No, we are no superheroes. We are just average people sitting in this chair trying to trade just like you guys. And hopefully we can help with whatever we can do. And again, a superhero doesn't do this right here, add at the break of this, but that's okay. And then now 10 memberships coming from KC. Oh. Wow, that is insane. So thank you very much for that. I'm glad that you've been raking it out. Been seeing you in the chat more and more often, so thank you very much, KC. One thing to note is that I'm going to be looking, I'm going to try to channel my inner Obi here possibly, and then look for a reversion trade back to the volume weighted average price, but just keep in mind, considering the names are so strong, it may take multiple attempts and they might liquidity grab you on multiple occasions, so it's just best to start small and then build into it, but then also don't expect it to get a big time move either, even though I'm like, hey, I'm moving to VWAP, but look how the indicator is tracing price action. So that just tells me there's a lot of volume and they're buying it higher and higher and higher up, right? So what I'm thinking is if we're not going to get the deepest, you want to look for price targets around key support and resistance zones, and then maybe start to slowly peace out again. So yeah, keep that in mind. No, Jag, I am not, brother. I am red on the day. But yeah, again, that's how it is. Sometimes we were slanging some ETH not too long ago, slanging. That's crazy. I just said that. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, this is what we got chopped up in here. And I just took it off my chart. So since I took it off after this last out, I haven't even looked at this underlying asset. So and nor am I going to, other than me just explaining to you essentially why I'm red on the day is because the crypto space put me that way, my friend. No, what are you sorry for, man? It's part of the game. Like, get used to being red. Again, we can climb back at any given moment. It only takes one trade, especially if you keep those risk measures in place.
Yeah, Tisha, I screwed it up, Tisha. I didn't have patience with it. I don't know why. I had a bias on APM, Tisha, that this one was destined to fail, and I was wrong. It was a clean hold off 3. I had a bias that it would reject the 10 EMA on the 5 from the south to north side. It didn't do that. It reclaimed it. It's doing a topping tail into 3.5 though, so this could be the start of a bigger downturn. I don't know. It's got an ugly candle that just finished on the 5-minute chart right now. A topping tail doji candle with the body lower towards the low of the candle as opposed to the high. So you feel, the shorts were, or the sellers were in control of that specific candle. So yeah, anyway, make a long story short without belaboring the situation, my read on APM wasn't as crisp as it should be. I had the long at 3. I didn't hold it. That's on me. And I'll look to do better next time. So that's what I'm looking at right now. If it sets up better and takes out that $0.50 decisively, we can have a conversation about this one again. But am I even red on it? Yeah, very, very, very mildly red. So we are red on it, though, full disclosure. IMRX still holding this bad boy here, only 1 beak wetter. This one's still holding trend with the 10 EMA. So it's really slowed down substantially, though, in price action. You can see it looks like it's frozen. It's not, but that's typically not good for the longs, but it's holding the 10 EMA generally. LASE. Now, you guys were telling me about LASE in the chat, and more accurate you guys could not be. It does a quick wick into 4, exactly where the volume weighted average price is hanging out, so you get that double whammy of support at the 10 EMA, at VWAP and at the psychological support level. But it's not exactly rocketing up. That's problem number 1. Problem number 2, I've seen the spread as wide as 7-8 pennies on this thing. I mean, who needs that kind of crap, right? So I don't need that. I don't want to be dealing with that either. So if the volume picks up, or I get some very advantageous entry, perhaps another 4 dip, then maybe we can have a conversation. But I don't think I'm going to get into LASE, just given the characteristics of the name. Going to Open's okay, nothing really doing there. Don't need to report about that. And then SLQT, we just got stopped out, as it did lose the low of the doji candle off which I was basing my entry. So we put in a doji candle here, subsequent candle, green candle to make a 5-minute high on a closing basis. This candle lured me in. This is what they call, a bull trap. Right? You put in a couple of green candles followed by a doji candle. You think, okay, we're resuming trend, right back down. So you win some, you lose some, and then you hope that you have an eidetic memory so that you can remember that one next time. Got you there, Dara. No, I'm playing.
Yo, did you know you could do this? Like in the notifications, you just tap on it and then you can send a message right there without actually opening your phone?
Yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, yours. I don't have the full thing. Don't worry, bro. Well, don't worry, my boy. Next
when you
this month, this time next month,
well,
you can't pre-order until the event, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they're saying the event's likely going to be September 9th, but nobody knows exactly. We're talking about the Apple event because I'm going to buy the 17 Pro Max. Because I haven't bought a phone since 2022, so it's time for an upgrade, right? So what was I going to say? Yeah, they leaked the date. And then usually it's a Tuesday. You can typically start the pre-orders on the Friday.
On a Friday?
Yeah,
Cool,
and then you get it a week later. So we'll see exactly when it comes out.
Good stuff.
But yeah, did you see, we're going to get to this on the news, but Google dropped their new Pixel 10 yesterday. Multiple different versions, and they got that full... Apple, let's go. But guess what?
What, brother?
The biggest Pixel bull on the floor, a.k.a. Brendan Wickens.
Yeah.
Did you see what he was sporting this morning?
Yeah, he's converted.
You see what he sported this morning? He got a 16 Pro.
That's crazy.
Oh,
That's
no.
crazy.
Brendo sold out, Adara.
No.
He did. He's got a 16 Pro in his hand, Adara. That Pixel is gonzo.
I will say, I know he had some beef with his Pixel because the screen kept doing things to him. So the thing's understandable, but I had no idea he'd switch to an iPhone.
Adara, and it was 2 years deep. This bad boy's 4 years deep, and it's still going. Something telling me that Apple might have better quality. I don't know.
Right away. But you know what it is? How do you think about this, Sharif? So there was BBM, obviously. You're aware of what's going on, right? Yep. But then you had iMessage come out and it just dominated the space. Do you think that there can be another messaging app, like if Google comes out with something kind of similar to iMessage, that can start to really grab share from?
We're already on RSS. You haven't seen this? Like what? Obe's got a what's it called?
Oh, so
Android. So I see when he says red.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
it's
I
red.
see that, yeah.
I see when he's typing.
Yeah.
I can send him high quality pictures now. It's green, but that's the only thing.
The thing is though, if you start a group chat with everyone who has an iPhone in there, OB can't hop in that group chat.
Yeah, that's
right.
Point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
like,
yeah.
can they set something up? Does Google Pixel have something along those lines where you can have multiple individuals?
I think they have their own messenger. But Joey, I gotta tell you the truth,
Yeah.
bro. I think we're moving beyond messengers now. Like the
What do
good
you
old
think?
days of like, the messaging app being the driver.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
What do you
if
think
that's
it is?
I don't know what it's gonna be, but I
Yeah.
don't know if the messaging app is the one that moves the needle, especially text messaging app.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like them, but I don't live and die by them like I used to with BBM.
Yeah, I think the kids these days are just
like-
glued to their phone, man.
Oh, that ain't wrong.
Yeah.
That's definitely not wrong. So, Casey, you got the 13 Pro Max too? Yes, Casey. May 26th, May 25th, and you trade small caps. I love it, Casey. Get it, and thank you very much for the super chat and the memberships that you just dropped. All class Casey,
Discord,
as in all class Adam DeLuce.
Discord is great. Like I love Discord as well. So yeah, I mean that's another.
It doesn't move the needle for me. Joey.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't.
Yeah. It's a little different. It's not as easy as just like adding numbers and then.
And Neil just brought up a good point, bro. Everybody's got WhatsApp. And can I say something to you?
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know, this is anecdotal, obviously, but I feel like when I leave North America, if I'm going to the Middle East, they live and die by WhatsApp.
Absolutely.
Even people with iPhones, which is like, why are you messaging me on WhatsApp when you have an iPhone? Don't do that. I won't respond.
Yeah, same. What's
You
up
know
with
what I
that?
mean? Look, that's crazy.
What's wrong with these people?
You got Joey. Now that we're done.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Assassino. Yeah? Do they love WhatsApp in Latin America, though, Assassino? Sure, yeah. That's my perception as
they
well,
really
to
like
be
it
honest
over
with you.
there.
They just love it, man.
Yeah.
I don't care.
This market's really, really weak, brother. I don't know if this trade's gonna work out. I don't want to just hold on to this thesis just because, right? Because I kind of have a game plan of it running into 99. You can see on the lower time frames here now that we've ran into this double top, so we couldn't punch through that specific level. And then now I'm slightly out of the money on this, so I'd rather just get out and instead of taking a bigger than a needed loss, considering I've added so many times into this position here, Shreve.
Okay, man. I got in again to APM. I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, Tisha, but I'm seeing what I want to see. You got a topping tail candle into the $0.50. It things like it's all going to be over. The subsequent candle ends up being a green hammer candle, and here we go again, testing that $0.50 above the 10 EMA on the 5. So look, I'm just going to hold this. I'm not going to put really any stops. I got into a small position, and I'm going to look to add to the position. That way, I don't have to keep, getting in and getting out because I'm worried that I'm not seeing what I want. So we're involved with it. I'm going to take a small position, as I mentioned, and then we'll add to it if it clears that $0.50 on a closing basis. So that's what I'm involved with at the moment. There isn't a whole lot to mention to you guys, sadly. IMRX still holding trend above the 10 EMA. This is the second edition to the IMRX trade. We got in initially, added again, and then there is the latest edition of the ad. That's IMRX for you, LASE. Joey, we got to get in here, man. I mean, there's a triple bottom here holding the volume weighted average price. So if I was just to get in at 4, my stop could literally be 2 or 3 pennies below 4 plus the spread. And I think we'd be good on LA. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's see if we can get 9s. We do get 9s. And there we go. We're going to throw in the stop right there. And we'll have to give it a little bit of room, obviously, because of said spread. So let's go ahead and see if we can get something in and around this area. So Pesky as well continues to trend, guys. I have had no trades on Pesky. Let me see if I want to take this one off. I think I'm going to take off. No. Bro, I'm running out of screens here, man.
Yeah, I know.
All right, here's the deal. We're flattening out EQ, and we're going to put Pesky on PSKY. PSKY, excuse me. There it is. It's a bit more expensive, guys, 16 and change, but it's got a respectable chart pattern that I really have nothing bad to say about. There was one momentary breach on a wick basis of the 10 EMA at the 5 that happened at 11:10, and it hasn't happened since. Currently, the 10 EMA is at 16 exactly. Now, the 10 EMA obviously may not be there by the time we get down, so I'm going to put a bit of a dip trade here, and we're going to go 16.05. We're going to see if we can get something in and around that area if it lets us in. IMRX taking off again. I love it. IMRX continues to trend up, and now we're about a few pennies away from that day high. 442 HOD on IMRX. Let's see if we can continue. Here we are, 39s, 40s now. Let's see if we can take out 42 before we send you to Adara. And happening now in Neil's lesson of the day, we're showing 41 Joey options. So we're going to have to pack our patience over here and wait for the cross. Otherwise, we will not get filled, and we'll keep you in suspense. Not like you guys care. But Adara is at the big desk with happening now. Then Neil's lesson of the day.
What a choppy day for this market. Ups and downs. You can really see that in the 15-minute chart. We'll have a lot of, just candles entirely wiping multiple candles of action to the upside and downside. Not a lot of direction today. Just up and then right back down. Nasdaq looking pretty similar as we await the Jackson Hole Symposium. I mean, it's already started, but tomorrow at 10 a.m., Fed Chair Powell will be delivering that keynote address, and that can and often is market moving. So I have an infographic on that will be coming out very shortly. But either way, this should be pretty exciting stuff for the market and certainly for day traders. Walmart pushing a little bit lower here, breaking below that support and trying to break down below 98. WMT on watch after its earnings report. We also had Billy reporting this morning. Let's take a look here at BILI. This one just consolidating your low of day. UNH has been on watch since last week when it was confirmed that Berkshire Hathaway, of course, led by, or at least formerly led by Warren Buffett, did purchase a significant position in UNH. We know that Appaloosa added to their position, and Michael Burry started a position as well. So lots of larger, players, I guess, in the market getting involved with United Health here. Had a beautiful run in the morning. Right now, though, breaking a little bit lower is UNH. So lots to look at. But right now, we're going to look over to Neil and his lesson of the day. Without further ado, take it away, Neil.
Thank you very much, Adara. It's a choppy day today. It's a chop fest. But you know what? When you have a chop fest, you want to see what were the cleanest type of trades. And the first thing that stood out to me was, when in doubt, zoom out. Sometimes you can find the best trade by looking for your setup, not on your 3-minute chart where you're executing your 15-minute or whatever. Just look at a daily chart every now and then and find something pretty distinct that gives you a little bit of an edge. First one is going to be HIMS in two ways. We had a lot of questions about HIMS when it was breaking down recently, and just from trend to trend, I like trend lines. Take a look at HIMS. This was a distinct trend line that got broken. Support, support. There's where it broke. Also happens to line up with support from April. As it breaks down here, it formed another trend line. Well, what happened yesterday? We essentially bounced off of support. So there's your support in front of 40. There's where you bounce for the V shape that every stock had yesterday. And then all of a sudden, we come in opening up on the other side of that trend line. So what that tells you is, well, in the higher time frame, I've got a big time trend break that trended down into support that is breaking support. So that's like you're looking for a reversal long. So you come in with a bias to the long side, and what does it do? Maybe the most simplistic technical strategy you could ever find in the market, which is prior resistance turning into support. So if you take the most basic analysis that you could have done on a daily chart of HIMS, which I didn't look at HIMS, so that's pie in my face. I didn't look at HIMS. And bounces right off the prior resistance level and then just starts trending up. Now the key here is, well, it's going down, then it's like shaking everybody out. So if you didn't have some kind of a bias to the long side here, there's no reason to be in a long. Like you're looking at it, it's like, okay, well, it's sliding down against the market. The overall trend in the 15-minute is down. It's dancing around here, like going nuts, shaking people out. But if you start with the theory that support has held, trend down has broken the trend, I'm simply looking for a long entry. If you're looking for it, then you will see the bounce in the higher low and play the long side. And while I just give me a minute while I do that, because it's got a trend on the 15-minute which could break, and that's worth watching for myself. But the other thing that you can find is something maybe like NIO, something bullish. Now this is more pie on my face because I think we drew this whatever you call this. What are we calling this? Bull flag, descending wedge, whatever the heck you're gonna call it. Doesn't really matter. We know what it means. It's bullish, right? Like you essentially have a bullish consolidation here on NIO on the daily chart. And we had the long when it was breaking out this day. And then what does it do? Consolidation day. So this is the other reason that you can be a little bit bullish on this look is one, when the market decided that it wanted to go for a jaunt to the downside, this held above the breakout level on NIO and consolidated above that breakout level. This gives you a million continuation trades to look off of. This is why we were pulling up this chart a couple of days ago. And the continuation trades are, you could just simply sit long in front of the prior high. You could sit long in front of this high, which that's a really tight stop. You could take a breakout trade to this prior high. You could take a breakout trade to this little pre-market low in here. All of those are valid because you have a bias predicated on the price action on the daily chart, showing you that this is bullish, and as long as it's holding above here, you're looking for the bull case. Two examples where all you had to do is do a little bit more research, step back into that daily chart, get an overall signal as to what direction you like. In this particular case, even as the market's weak, these are two long plays that have been trending to the upside. And it just comes down to a little bit more preparation. A pattern on a chart, it's just a pattern. What is it telling you? If it's telling you something bullish and overwhelmingly bullish, then that can give you the impetus to have looked for a long in something where you might not see it again when you go to your lower time frame chart. So I know the pie on my face is more NEO than HIMS because NEO was one we literally had the long 2 days ago. And then I think rightfully ignored it yesterday, didn't like anything that I saw. But then today, what's the reason not to be in it when it confirms that hold? But if you liked it here, then how do you not like it here as well? And that's because you zoom out, find your direction on the higher time frame, and then look for that execution on the lower time frame. That's your lesson of the day. As the market, I mean, it's an inside day, but we're right back at those lows. We can't break the highs. We can't break the lows. I guess after that V-shaped recovery, everyone's still trying to figure it out. Very, very choppy session. That's why if you can find these types of setups, it goes a long way to being profitable instead of just like flat. It's like for every winner I have today, I got a loser.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Bill.
Yeah, good stuff there, guys. Let's pull up my chart here and just break down. This is what you got to get at as names when you're supposed to. And just keep yourself in the game. Like, think about how long we are sitting in this chop here, just looking for a price target of 99, and then essentially it just drops $1 right there super quick within a span of a couple of minutes. So that's what you get at when you're supposed to, man. At the end of the day, it's another loss. So, yeah, in all honesty, I don't have a green name today, but hey, it is what it is, right?
Like that,
yeah, exactly. Some days are most definitely like that, brother. But yeah, we don't get too worried or upset about anything. So for me now, it's just like, okay, we got to be patient, wait, and okay, I didn't know that. Nice. All right, that's all I needed. Yeah, so there it is. Didn't work out. We did have opportunities to be solidly green throughout the session, but we were looking for a bigger run. And then someone mentioned earlier in the day, it's like, yeah, I'm just taking whatever the market gives me, little pops, and I'm not looking for that extended move. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. So yeah, good play there, and way to recognize the current market environment, right? Because considering what we got going on, it's like, hey, we had multiple opportunities to be so, right? So there it is, a nice pop. That thesis was right. That didn't work out. Small loss, small loss. And then we get this big move looking for more. And it's like, how much more do you want the market to give you when we kind of have more of a bearish sentiment? So at the end of the day, that's just, no, I wouldn't say it's bad trading, but you got to realize what it's going to give you. And then sure enough, pop. One thing that did keep me in this is that you can notice here is that the volume through this consolidation phase was starting to cool off. So I'm like, all right, maybe we can get a rebound and then go and test this high of the day and establish a new one, and we take a little bit more off. But no, that wasn't the case. I decided to sell, and then now Ethereum is just kind of trading within this range right here, Sharif.
Okay, man. APM is breaking out, guys. So finally, we got it right on APM. It took enough tries, and we're not even that well on it. I mean, we're in at 43. It's taking out 60. Wow, here we go. Let's go. Take out my orders, bro. Let's go.
Bravo.
It popped up to 64. I was waiting at 65, guys. Let's see if we can get that continuity. Good look here for APM. The order book has really picked up in speed and in aggression. You can see the volume really starting to pick up on the volume bars as well. So APM still well off the highs, about 14 pennies off the high from the current candle, which got up into about 70. Back into 60 we go. Selling here or profit taking. Let's just see if we can get that continuity that we have been waiting for, that I've been waiting for. So not quite yet. It doesn't look like. We might have to Packer patience. In fact, I did have an order to defend another level there that went unfilled, so don't have the full position. Now, let's go over here to Pesky. Pesky, I'm involved in this one. I also had a dollar cost average that didn't fill. We're in at 5s. It's showing me 16, so we're a little out of the money, but it's generally holding the 10 EMA, and I'm looking to see whether this one's also got the juice to let some more loose to the high side over here, because we have a bunch of different orders ready and resting there to be printed. Now, let's just see if we can get up there. 4 is showing up now. Not quite breaking back above, so yeah, we'll have to wait on that one. Opendoor, though, my stay into Opendoor may come to an end very soon. We only have one out left. 54s is my entry. It's come all the way back down from 71 into 56. That's going to be the end of the trade for me. If it breaks down below where my entry is 54, I said? Yeah, so we're going to go 53. We'll give it 1 penny, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Let's cancel. Oh, I did already cancel the previous stop, so that's fine there. We don't need to worry about that. Also, Lace. I got into this one as well. So we did get in, where did I get in? LASE, we have 9s, scalped up into 15s, a couple of unfilled orders into 18s, and mid-20s. I'm looking for this one to hold the volume weighted average price. Also, IMRX. Show yourself, IMRX. This one, yes, we got the high of the day literally on the dot at 43s. It's back down, though, into 33. This is my 3rd stint on IMRX, looking for this one to continue possibly into that $0.50 zone. That would just be aces. Let's go back over now to APM as it zigs and zags high or low on this candle. It still hasn't taken out the top at 70. I'm talking about APM now. What I'm looking for is at least continuity into the mid-60s here. I don't mind adding, guys, if we take out the high of the day at 384 on APM, I'm going to punch in at the high of the day because we could squeeze easily. That's all predicated upon, though, how aggressively we break that HOD. I mean, if we're just stair-stepping up, then there's really no momentum to catch. I'm talking about that rocket ship, you know, where you kind of take out levels aggressively and catch shorts offside. Here we go, 63s again, and we know this is the area where we topped out last time. Are we going to top out at the exact same area, or are we going to shake the seller? Again into 63, 64 we're selling. So no continuity quite yet, at least into the high mid-60s right here on APM, but you feel it is kind of coiling up for that break. You know, when the break comes, your guess is as good as mine. I'm still waiting on this one. I also want to bring your attention to SLQT, which is now pulled back into the volume weighted average price. Do I have SLQT here? Here it is. So SLQT into VWAP, and that's also the $0.50 level. So a bit of overlap right now between that psychological area of support and the volume weighted average price on SLQT. Full disclosure, I'm 0 for 1 on SLQT, so I'm going to need to see a little bit more to get involved. So that's my story. And did we get the print? No. The answer to that is still no on APM, despite the fact that it's still there at 62, 63, 64. We're going unprinted. I'm too stubborn to move down my orders. I'm going to insist that they print. Otherwise, you know, I'll just let it go against me, Joey. I'm just like, I'm going to follow my rules.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just,
that's
yeah,
the way it is.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, I'm just looking at a couple of names here. NVDA, Tesla, Gaurav and I are just kind of game planning here to see what we can cook up. And if we, the more it sells, Gaurav, to be honest with you, the more I like it, and then maybe we can find something as an indecision print or something along those lines, right? So, but I think it's key to be patient. I do like what you're looking at here on the TQs. He's like, yeah, double bottom potentially, and I agree here. So let's see if this support level can hold, but we also want to be able to identify the strength within these prints. It's extremely key, right? So it's almost a double bottom to the penny. You have some liquidity grabs, so we can call some whipsaw move here, and then it just climbs right back higher. But here it is, a consistent downtrend. There's another lick grab, and then it decides to climb lower. But if we go through a couple of the other names like NVDA, downtrend still fully intact, so we're just constructing lower highs. So yeah, maybe we got to be patient and wait for it to come back into this trend line, and then look for the potential fade. And this is what I'm talking about. Just going through this transition period of just like, hey, I like what someone in the chat, when your edge starts to decay, you just start to switch things up, and it was very well put on how they kind of phrased it, and I agree with you completely. So there it is, NVDA. Wait for another retest of this trend, and then maybe you can kind of get like this channel trading where you're buying the
Hey?
No, you actually get better. It's like wine, Fabian. You get significantly better at 30. Apparently, yeah.
Fabian,
30+.
you're not that far from 30, brother.
Yeah, he's talking big. He's talking big
Like,
smack.
Terrible.
He's smoking big.
Hold on, Fabian. Where are you at now? I know your birthday is late November. So are you 26 or 27? 28. Okay, I was close.
Yeah, see you later, buddy.
Yeah. See you later, buddy.
We'll see you in the 30 club in a couple of years. Yeah, that's unfortunate, man. How did you cope with turning like 30? Right?
So I had a couple of favorite birthdays.
Yeah.
21, 25, and 30.
Yeah.
Those were awesome birthdays. Ridiculous birthdays.
Ridiculous.
But from like, I don't know why. It was just, I was telegraphing them to everybody.
Yeah.
The parties ended up being
Crazy.
buck. Everybody came out. Like there was no, you know, oh, this friend shows up, that didn't. So those were the three that stick out for me. So I can't say anything bad about 30.
The 30? That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, my 20, my 24th birthday was like a complete. It was
Gong show.
Yeah, it was a movie.
The Gong show.
I'll tell them how it is. I honestly, I'll be honest. I popped like 10 bottles at the club that night, and I just didn't care. It was insane. Like I didn't even care. The lady's like, "Are you sure you want another one?" I'm like, "Actually, yeah, I want 2 more."
Oh.
So we just kept popping bottles, and I have a picture of how that night ended up, and then sure enough, I'm assuming you guys know what was going on there. But yeah, no, to me,
well, we got a glimpse on Thursday there, you know.
Sure, yeah, I got it. I'll pull it up on my phone and I'll show you guys. It's obvious. It's obvious how it ended, right? Like you can't do anything and then think you're going to be anywhat functionable after that. Yeah. No. So that's how that went. That was an epic party. My 22nd birthday as well too. Shreep was just I had a lot of good birthdays. I can't complain whatsoever. Yeah. But yeah, as for the market here, guys, we are getting a bounce in Tesla. I was looking at this name right there, and then also we're getting a bounce off the lows in NVDA, which is a positive sign. So let's see if these support levels are going to actually come into factor here, and then maybe you can base a trade off that. Adair, what do you got for us?
I think I'm going to mention this stock because I'm seeing a lot of people talk about it in social media, and it's down about 10% with actually fairly significant volume. Cracker Barrel. This is down 10% right now. About 2 million shares traded on the day. Cracker Barrel is down because they debuted a new logo. Here's the old logo on the left and the new logo on the right. There's a lot of controversy around this new logo, and the stock is, as I mentioned, down double digits today. So CBRL on watch after this logo reveal. Back to you.
Let's see if we can get this here.
How do you feel about this logo change situation?
I don't think it's that drastic, to be honest with you. They just took the guy out of the picture, and then now they just have the words in it. So.
Adara says she doesn't think it should be either. I don't know why the market looking for any reason, Adara. Maybe you never know. Like whatever.
Quick logo change.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go, guys. So I'm keeping my eye here on IMRX. Got stopped out of APM as that one lost the bid in a hurry. So we did take out the order at 69. So I did get some out there at 69, but we're still holding some of the position, and APM is dropping. But I'm focusing on IMRX because this one's really stair-stepping up. Boom! Into the high of the day on IMRX, 448. We got printed there at 46s, so pleased with that one. This one continues to be the gift that keeps on giving. Let's see if it continues to give. This is the third entry we've had on IMRX on the day. Joey, looking for more.
All right, guys. Beta Pro Global X Canada has just launched 6 new triple leveraged ETFs, offering 3x bull and 3x bear exposure to the S&P and TSX 60, semiconductors, and U.S. Treasuries. Even better, they're offering a special free rebate, dropping management fees to just 65 basis points until December 31st, 2025. These ETFs also employ currency hedging to seek neutralize U.S. dollar exposure, providing performance that may more accurately reflect the underlying U.S. equities indices. If you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca 3x daily to learn more there, folks. Okay, so yeah, Gaurav, nice. You're long off of those lows. Nice double bottom grab right there. See if you can get the top end of that channel. My eyes are on Tesla right now, TSLL. Have my eyes on XPEV as well. Maybe actually, no, I'm not going to do that just because it's too much of a slow grinder. I'm thinking, hey, do I grab Walmart here at these lows? But for me personally, it's just like intraday. It's not the best in my opinion. And you go back on multiple sessions, look what it's doing, right? It's not doing too much here. So, I mean, there it is. It's not horrible, I guess. But at the end of the day, you can see very, very tough to find a distinctive pattern. And it's not like it's going up and to the right or anything along those lines. So, yeah, there it is. Oh, okay. So nice bounce, actually. So some nice indecision at those lows. That might be a good opportunity. Maybe I'm going to eat my words relatively quickly. So yeah, we're going to be patient. We're going to sit on these hands a little bit and then wait for some more what's the word I'm looking? Confirmation. So there it is. Also, INTC indecision print at VWAP, which is a good sign, but a nice hammer, slow grind to the high, and then you get that inverted retest VWAP, and then now you're starting to slowly climb back. So I'm curious to see if we can run into these levels here.
All right, man. All right. Did I tell you I'm going to the Dua Lipa concert on
yeah, you did.
Labor Day?
Is that when it is?
Yeah.
What kind of tickets? Did you upgrade those to the...
I didn't buy them.
Oh.
You know that.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
You're excited?
I'm pumped.
What are you
bro.
waiting for? One kiss is all it takes.
Bro, there's so
Falling in
many.
love with me.
I don't even like
That's
that one.
That's the best one, man.
What are you
And the hip
saying,
move that
bro?
she does on that. Da, da,
I mean, she can dance now. So I was talking to Fabian a while back. If he's like, she was not like a good performer, and like I think like that you have to change as an artist now because so much comes from these live shows.
Yeah.
That if you're not entertaining at the live show, then you know what are you even doing?
The Sea Breezy concerts there that have been going down at.
Oh yeah,
he's a performer,
you're talking about
man.
that. Yeah, that was amazing.
Sea Breezy.
The issue is though, she's doing it at Scotiabank, which is like the smallest of the venues. So to me, she doesn't have as big of a following in Toronto or in Canada as she did. She obviously in Europe, she filled a Wembley. Obviously, it's her home country. That's 100,000 when it's filled when it's
like
set up for
ACC?
soccer. Yeah, the ACC, Scotiabank.
Big, man.
No, man. Weekend did his at the Dome. There was like I don't know, almost 100,000 people.
Yeah. That's
right?
fair. Yeah,
no,
that's
a little
fair.
bit less than that, but.
Yeah.
So you kind of get the feeling she doesn't have as big of a following here.
She does over there. What is she? She's not Armenian, is she?
She's Albanian heritage, but
Yeah.
she's British.
British.
Yeah,
English.
I think she's born in London. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Check that out. But
figure
stay
that out.
breezy, Mr. Jeezy's. Shout out to Digital Gravity USA, Gen X bud. All right. I don't know what all that means.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I'm kind of pumped about that.
Yeah, that's the old 21st birthday aftermath there.
Oh, that's crazy.
my floor, yeah.
That's crazy. Been there. Love the fetal. Show him, Joey. Show him the fetal position. Oh,
where
boy.
are we going out here? That's what happens when you turn 24, apparently.
Oh,
so
baby.
yeah, and that's the floor of my Honda. So yeah, that is.
I'm sorry, brother. I've been there, man. We've all
it was
been
so
there.
worth it, man. It was such an epic night. Yeah, it was great.
Dara, weasel in for a second over here. Like, very responsible. I think I've told you this before. I think you're decades more mature for your age than most people your age. You ever end up in that fetal position there, Dara?
Yes. I
Get it, Adara!
That I
Get
have.
it, Adara! There it is.
100% is what I will say to that. I mean, we try to not do that in life, but yeah.
Yeah,
It happens.
Yeah,
It
no,
happens.
I mean, I think after a certain age, you just stop doing that stuff.
I hate
It's funny. It's funny. So you know the medians, like how they have the guardrails. My boys told me that I tried to jump over it to get to the cab, and I didn't even come anywhere close to it, and just boom. And
Face first?
Yeah, face first. And I wake up,
goodness.
to my cousin. He slept over at my house, and he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yo, what happened last night?" I'm like,
like,
"Why
"You
is
really
my
wanna
head?"
know?
Yeah. He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "My head hurt, and I had a scratch on." And he's like, "Yeah, you tried jumping over the guardrail, and you weren't even close." And the thing though, it's like only like this high, so that obviously.
Yeah, but
the coordination
you're completely shot at that. Your balance, your coordination, your judgment.
It was gone.
Everything,
Yeah,
everything.
it was gone.
I've got plenty of stories there, man. If I bring some of my friends on the show,
they'd be like,
man.
yeah.
Oh man, no, I was wild. That's why I try to stay away from alcohol, bro.
Exactly. Well, I think at this age now, I think as you get into your later 20s, I don't even think you get anything along those lines. Like for me, it's just the repercussions the next day aren't even worth kind of doing that. Yeah.
And now if I hit the alcohol hard, I'm written off for 2 days.
Yeah. Oh, bro,
2 days.
brother,
Yeah.
3 days.
Yeah. No.
3 days.
Can I say? Can I?
Yeah.
An accelerant.
Yeah.
The sauna.
The sauna?
Yeah, because I mean water and sauna, because clearly you've got poison running through your body, right? So you need to get it out. Obviously, you get it out by urinating, but you can get it out other ways as well, sweating up a storm. So.
And to be honest with you, during those days, I would just hit the gym after.
Yeah, that's
like the next morning, the same, but there's zero chance of that happening.
0%.
Yeah, zero right away.
Oh my.
Right away. So yeah, guys, what are you looking at? What's everyone looking at? You just had Kahlua just had a wild night in Austin, Texas. Glad seeing you back. I know you've been in Vegas for some time as well. So I'm sure you've been partying up a storm. But let's find some other parties here, and that's going to be in the overall market. What are we looking at, guys? Any specific names? I know somebody wanted me to take a look at SLV, and I'm sorry that I forgot, and hopefully you're still listening on what we got cooking up. So let's take a look at SLV right after we get back from Shreve.
You've seen Trade the Pool with us here for a while now, guys, and now they've created something very special just for a Trader TV audience. A free ebook featuring 4 proven swing trading strategies from Trade the Pool's top funded traders. Inside the book, you'll see exactly how they approach the markets, how they manage the risk, and what setups they rely on so you can learn and grow from what actually works in real life. If you're interested in that kind of thing, download it now by scanning the QR code on the screen or hit the link in the description. Shout out to the great folks there at Trade the Pool.
Trade the Pool. We got it.
I almost said something else there, and you don't even want to know. But yeah, I can't wait for them to come. Here's the jokes. So Canadian Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, different. You guys late November, we're mid-October, because obviously harvesting earlier in the north, right?
Yeah.
So October 13th, that's when Thanksgiving is.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, fantastic. Let me take that day off. I looked in the calendar, nobody had it up. So I put my name on there. Literally the day I did, Brenda's like, oh, the whole Trade the Pool team's coming up from Miami. Mitch is coming, and they're coming on the 13th.
On the 13th.
So needless to say, I canceled that.
Access denied.
Access denied, exactly. I'm actually really pumped for them to come up.
Yeah,
and I want to actually meet Mitch IRL and see what he's up to.
See what the boys over there in FLA are up to.
Hey?
In Florida, what the boys in Florida
Yeah, he's
are
from
up to?
Orlando, right?
Yeah,
So, he's like that Central Florida kind of vibe there. I definitely don't mind going and visiting him.
Oh, no.
Smashing Orlando trip.
I've only been there once. Have you ever? I've only been to
one.
Yeah,
I was in grade 6. How old was I? Like 12 or 13?
Yeah, I
something
was
like
a little bit younger than that when I was there. So yeah, shout out to that. But as for silver here, guys, it's not too bad of a look. I mean, it's no gold at the end of the day. But if you want to just talk about steady appreciation, here it is in SLV. And then that's the iShares Silver's Trust continuing to grind higher. And then someone was asking, it keeps running into resistance here on an intraday standpoint. It's true. And then it's double topped here as well to the penny. So yeah, that's why you're going to get that breakdown. So watch out for that neckline just in case it snaps. As you can see, the market is looking to take another leg lower. Adara, what do you got for us?
Yeah, what I have here is some news on Tesla and Uber. Forbes reporting that apparently Waymo cars are arriving on the streets of New York City. So, I mean, Tesla taking this a lot harder than Uber. Tesla trading not at low of days, but almost low of days here. UBE are not really doing too much on this. But again, we're seeing some reports here from Forbes suggesting that apparently Waymo cars are now arriving on the streets of New York City. Back to you.
That's important, Adara, because I think that's going to be a big test. We all know New York traffic, what it's like. So this is
I think that's the biggest of test. That's what you want to see where it really works, right? When you're in more rural areas, it's essentially irrelevant. Obviously, they're not going to be there. There's not as much traffic, but it's just the pedestrians, the construction as well that you want to see what's going on.
Yeah,
so,
and
I think that's going to be really big.
Aggressive driving, the pedestrians, as you mentioned. Yeah. And let's not forget the bikes, dude.
Exactly.
The chaos that ensues on some of the Toronto streets with these bikes, I can just only imagine what the chaos will be like in New York.
Well, you know, I've been riding the bikes around lately, and ask me how many of the actual street laws I abide by on that thing. So
what Joe is talking about is we have like a bunch of different like electrical mopeds, like electrical
like a bike
bikes. So what they're doing is, the delivery guys, they use a lot of it. So if you're ordering from Uber Eats or Skip the Dishes or what did they have down there? The other one, DoorDash.
DoorDash, yeah.
That's likely where you're getting it from. So these guys, clearly they're trying to make as much money as they can, and God bless them, right? but they really play fast and loose with the laws. They're on the sidewalk. They're going against traffic. There's cutting in, zigging and zagging. They're almost running people over on the sidewalk, bro.
I love it. It adds context to the city. As frustrating as it gives me Caribbean vibes, right? Like when you're in congestion, right? Like when you're downtown, it's just like as long as you don't hit somebody, it's just for like you do whatever you please at the end of the day. But some people say Waymo is in Chandler, Arizona, very busy, no issues. So Austin, thank you for pointing that out as well. Have you been in one? I'm curious to know about that because I would love to take a ride in an autonomous vehicle. I personally haven't had the chance to yet, and I don't know how long it's going to take for Canada to adopt. We're usually about 2 decades late to every dance, essentially, obviously being slightly sarcastic, but I'm curious to see when we can start getting some regulatory clarity on that and if we can bring some of these vehicles over here.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I would definitely want like that. Guys, I've weaseled into APM again, and I'm done okay on this one. I took a much larger position now, so that's why I scalped out aggressively. We're in at the $0.25, and I've scalped out to 40s. I've moved my stop for the break of the low of this candle. So the low of this candle is around 17, 18. So let's see if it holds. I'm looking for another move up because I'm seeing higher lows. So I think I've traded this one wrong, and I'm trying to make up for my mistakes. The higher lows are what's operative here. So I'm trying to base it upon that. If it loses higher lows, then, we'll give back some, obviously. But that's what I'm looking at right now, looking at wetting the beak here through the high. We've got a good position on, biggest position I've had on all day. So let's see if we can actually make something on this you-know-what. I'm also holding a piece here. I'm still not holding a piece. I'm holding the position on Pesky. PSKY, as this one's been generally holding 16, and by extension of that, the 10 moving average on the 5, and I'm looking for this one to kind of curl back up and take out my levels. It feels like there is a buyer here in and around 16, 15, high 80s, low 90s, something like that. So, we're holding the position, but it's by no means in the clear. Let me go back to my IMRX trade because it's coming in again into my entry, so I need to move up my stop to account for that. So the 20 exponential is at 30. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it to 28. So we're going to go 428, and we're going to stop out if it breaks. Now, how many outs do I have left on? Oh, okay, good. We only have one beak water left, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and cancel the previous IMRX stop there so we don't get bamboozled. IMRX, no, we're good to go on that one, Joey. So let's see what this one has to offer. The stop already stopped me out. Fine, good. So we got this one right by moving up the stop and not letting it go against us when we didn't notice. So that's the situation. But back now to APM, as this one has got a higher low than the prior candle. But if it drops any more below that 20 penny area, we're gonzino. So those are the 3 positions, or 2 positions now that I got stopped out of IMRX that we're continuing to hold on to. I want to bring to your attention another one that you guys were talking about in the chat today, and that I didn't get to because it didn't set up in the right way. I'm talking about PTIX. Let me throw in that ticker, and we'll do some technical analysis on PTIX. The reason I didn't get involved in this one is because, well, it was below VWAP when I looked at it, despite the fact that it has all the right ingredients. It took out the pre-market high, which was around 4.25. We got to 620 during regular market hours, during regular trading hours, but we did lose VWAP. So now we're getting back above VWAP. But my same theory that I have for avoiding the pre-market high kind of applies here. If longs are holding the bag from around here, we're going to have trouble really getting through this $5 to $6 area. It's going to be a really tough trade because all the people who are out of the money holding this position from here are going to be looking to get the hell out every time we move up. So you're going to feel like there's a wall of sellers between 5 to 6. So not saying that you can't make money between 5 to 6, not at all. In fact, you probably can, but it's just going to be a bit of a thicker trade in my humble submission. So we'll see what that one has to offer us, Joey. Finally on PSKY, it holds 16, and here we go. Let's go, Pesky, and take out my orders, baby. We're showing 13s. Oh, where's the next beak water that we've got up here? We got at 14, so it's got to cross a little bit. The spread tightening up now to 1 penny, but we need to see more and not to sell off. Come on, Pesky, you little bugger. Let's keep going here, buddy. Let's take the high of the day on Pesky is 30, by the way. So the only order I've got, the highest order I've got, excuse me, is at 20. So we should probably wet the beak here at 25 as well in case we break through that level. So that's what we'll do. Keep an eye out on that, and then we'll move back to APM, Joey, as it's right back into my entry, but it hasn't stopped me out quite yet.
Absolutely beautiful stuff there, my friend. Yeah. Walmart's just continuing looking like it wants to bleed a little bit here. And then now we're trying to grab some Tesla off of these lows. One thing that I love is that the risk is so tight. So you don't want to just go right at that level. So we'll give it 38. So that's literally 6 cents here. So if it hits that, then we'll just stop out. And then it's like, at that point, we may as well just probably go through the news and stuff like that. Just because I'm not going to trade anymore considering what I got going on. Just not in sync with the market. So yeah, that's what I got cooking up. If we can get to VWAP, that's going to be absolutely prime time right there. And then we'll double this up here. We did get aggressive on that initial entry, thinking that we could get a bounce here, but it's just that downtrend is still such intact. And I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? So yeah, I think just the path of least resistance is most definitely to the downside. So you can sell VWAP here, and I'm trying to long off of these lows. So yeah, maybe we'll just hop out of it a little bit prematurely, considering we're not getting the bounce that we look for. But you can see from a volume standpoint, it's not horrible, right? Okay. It's picking up to the top side, but then again, it's just easier for everything to push down. And then when you're keeping your eyes on the tape, then if it's not giving you any confirmation, then it's just best. And I mean, I talked about Tesla not too long ago from a technical standpoint. It's not doing much, and it just tends to do kind of these things from time to time. Like at the end of the day, was this previous all-time high that I put in around $500? Yeah, I know a couple people are just holding this, and they thought that it was going to hit like $600-700 significantly earlier. But then when you have those numbers come out, you're just losing market share across the world. Essentially, it's tough for this name. And then Norway is your strongest place on the overseas. It's just like, you know what I mean? We'll just figure out and wait for Robo to actually kind of just take more of a in that. And then also we got Optimus as well. That I don't know how many years out that's going to be, because we know Elon is definitely optimistic about his timelines.
Optimistic about Optimus.
Right. So there it is. We're out of this one here, guys. Yeah, that's it, right? So that's it. I'm not even going to trade it. I got plenty of risk. I'm only down half my shutdown, but that's it. Shut it down here. Know when it's not your day, and just keep those losses relatively small. So yeah, yesterday I was red as well too. Not surprising. I had opportunities to go green on that, but I was just tired. Sharif's like, yo, what's going on here? And I'm just like, oh, I'm so tired, man. But yeah, I feel a little bit more alive today. We were prepped and ready to get the ball rolling, but the market had other plans, Sharif.
I feel that, man.
Yeah, that's part of it, man. We don't get upset about that.
No. Speaking of, let's talk a little boxing here for a second, because I more information on this. So it's actually going down. So so we're talking about Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. Yeah. Gervonta actually want to fight, who's the guy he drew against?
Lamont Roach.
Lamont Roach, yeah. So he actually want to fight him. And now that this whole thing has come to pass, they brought a clip of the after the fight interview with Lamont when they asked about who his next fight would be. Yeah. And he's like, well, he was in my dressing room after the fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so then they're like, who? Lamont? And he's like, Lamont wasn't in my dressing room. And then another reporter asked, Jake Paul? Yeah. And he stayed silent for like 10 seconds. And then he's like, next question. Really? He didn't say no. And then he held. Yeah, so clearly this has been in works for some time now. I think this is a circus.
It's absolutely a circus.
It's disrespect to boxing, because Gervonta's a real champion. Yep. He's a real fighter. Yep. He's one of the top pound for pound guys.
I think
you can't have one of these guys fighting 70 pounds above their weight class. This is a joke.
Yeah, it is a joke.
I don't like it whatsoever.
It's an exhibition on Netflix.
Yeah, I know. I get it's an exhibition. They're trying to keep it that way so that they don't frame it as a legitimate prize fight. But dude, like the fact of the matter, did you get that? Yeah, we both got it.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is it makes boxing look bad. And I don't like that.
It does.
I love boxing.
Again, I don't know how you go from fighting someone who's essentially sculpted from stone, and that's AJ, to fighting someone who's 5'7".
That's crazy.
And fights at literally 135.
No,
I don't get that. So, but see, what happened was
I'm out. I'm disconnected here. Are you disconnected?
I think it said back. I think it just said back, to be honest with you. Did you get it back there or no?
I didn't, man. Go ahead.
So yeah, what I was getting at there, Sharif, is that there you go, reestablish. You get the reestablish? Yeah. So okay, we lost it again. Yeah. So anyways, let's go on to what I was about to get at here.
Go ahead.
So what happened with Logan and Floyd is that they both had weight limits. So Logan couldn't come in at heavier than 190, and then Floyd couldn't come in heavier than 160, which doesn't make too much sense to me. So I'm going to assume they're going to do something like that. I mean, Tank probably walks around at 155, 160.
He's not a tall guy.
He's like 5'6", 5'7".
So even if he's like going to be bulky, he's not going to be too much in the way of weight.
And the thing is with Tank, he was never a volume guy. He was more precision. So he would just crack you with a beautiful shot if you made mistakes. So I don't know how he's going to match up with that, but I don't know what Jake's doing. I mean, by all means, it's just for him to go on his resume. He's like, yeah, I was in there with the best of the best, and I beat him or whatever it is. I wouldn't be surprised if Jake put him on the canvas, which he's never. Actually, he has been.
Yeah, he knocked out.
Gervonta essentially had a knockdown because he took that knee, because remember he said he had grease in his eye.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so
okay,
essentially he's had that knockdown, which I don't know, the ref didn't call that. It was a big mistake on him. But yeah, it's not a good look for boxing. But if the tables turn and he were to end up fighting AJ, I think that would have been great.
That would have been a better fight. I think AJ knocks him out, but whatever. Guys, sorry, Joey, I just got to digress.
Go ahead,
AEMD's flying here, guys. This is a very aggressive breakout. It's at the high of the day, 41s. Here's 40. This is up 115%. There's a seller of note at 40 that we can't shake for the moment. It's super extended. So it's a 44 high now, but it breaks into 44 and it's selling off again. There's that 41, 42 seller that's returned despite the 44 high. AEMD, the one I'm talking about right now, guys. So this, we just opened up another 5-minute candle, double top at 244. There's no continuity quite yet through that level. I was expecting maybe some resistance at the half dollar. How deep do we get on the retracements? Let's see. Let me just try something over here. This is something I've been trying. Let's give this one the old college try, so to speak. There we go. So we're going to try punching in at 2.25. Let's give this one an attempt at 2.25, okay, for a dip trade. Show me 230s now. Let's see if this one dips down into 2.25. 215 will be my stop. If it loses that level, that's fine. We've given it a try. It's not even coming down there. There's a buyer at the half there. We just lost the buyer at the third of a dollar, excuse me. 28's now coming in. Let's see if it dips down a little bit more. Waiting for that $0.25 drop and pop, hopefully. AEMD, the ticker, guys, just keeping my eye on this one at the moment. It's not letting me in, though. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to punch a smaller position here and see if this one wants to run. Otherwise, we're going to wait for that $0.25. I want to remind you guys, I'm still in that position on APM at the third of a dollar, looking for that one to run again into that $0.50 and still holding my position here. Where is my pesky position? PSKY. We got a beak wetter, but down it goes into 16 again. That's quite frustrating. So we'll see what this one ends up doing. AEMD still finding that buyer at around 28, 29. Let's see if it dips down a little bit more. Not quite moving down at the moment, so we'll have to pack our patience on that one and see exactly what it gets us. So those are the positions I'm in right now, guys. Let me know if you're looking at any other small cap gappers that are making moves midday. Be happy to cover them for you. I also want to bring to your attention Opendoor. It got into the volume weighted average price, which was around 47, so just a little bit below that 50 penny area. It caught a nice bid initially, but here we are with another red candle manifesting at the moment, and it's also below the 10 EMA on the 5. So this is something we've been talking about a lot more lately. When they lose the 10 moving average from the north to the south side, it becomes a bit of a tougher trade. But here comes APM, excellent stop out there. So we lose 19s, and that's exactly where I got stopped out. So we end up only giving back 5 pennies on the remaining amount there on APM. I had to keep it tight there because we had a bit of a bigger position. IMRX, we're all out of that, nothing to do there. And we didn't get the DCA, sadly, on AEMD, despite the fact that it got into 25s. It did not cross, so we did not get the ad. So we're still holding that 33 position. So I'm going to pack my patience on this one. I should let you know that the 10 EMA on AEMD is all the way down into $2. So we are getting extended away from the 10 moving average. So either we retrace closer to it or we consolidate for a period and allow the 10 moving average to catch up to the price action. We'll have to wait and see which one of those occurs, but I'm involved in these two right now, PSKY, Joey, and AEMD.
AEMD, nice work there, brother. All right, let's see. INTC looking pretty good. A nice indecision print right at the volume weighted average price here, right? So there it is, boom, holds the level relatively well, and then now you get to move up to about 15-cent move there. So you'd have to put on more shares in order to kind of capitalize on that. Joe, how do I send you my contact information? Yeah, you can add me on X. At TraderTV Joseph. Let's pull that up here. I know someone was asking about it earlier.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll pull that up here and I'll show you guys what we got going on. Pull up. And then we'll pull it up and see what we got cooking up on TraderTV Joseph. So there it is. Boom. We're doing it live. And there it is. Some more infographics from Adara. Beautiful stuff there. Beautiful stuff at Sharif. Beautiful stuff at Adara. Let's see what we got going on. Let's go over to the old Profilio. And that is going to be at TraderTV Joseph right there. So you can find me up. I post call walls, some trades once in a while, but I'm more or less focused on options activity, especially leading into some of these big time reports. So there it is. Go check your boy out at TraderTV.live. We post call and put walls all the time. And now let's actually take a look. Speaking of call and put walls, let's take a look at if that size at 185 on NVDA has started to grow, leading into next week's earnings report. We'll go to this week's expiration cycle, and then we'll go into next week's as well too. So 180 starting to cool off. So there it is, guys. People closing those positions, considering where NVDA is trading at 174. We've seen last week that the size there was substantial, right? So just keep that in mind. We've seen over 160,000 open contracts at that 180, 185 strike price, and then we moved up a couple increments there to the 190, where we've seen an additional 112 or so. So there was size. But now it's starting to cool off. But one thing to note is let's go over to this cycle to see if anything has increased, and it hasn't just yet. But one thing to note, at these $1.5, that's where you're going to see a lot. So 47,300 right there, 185, 43,900, and then 190, 41,000. So leading into next week's report, I'm going to be keeping an eye on this just for a potential fade, or maybe it wants to rip as well. This could be something positive. Tell me what you got going on.
Oh, it's ridiculous here, bro. AMD is absolutely flying to the high side. Boom, we got 38s. We just took out 60, 65 high. AEMD is really going, Joseph Lawson. All right, let's set up a little bit higher over here. We're going to wait at 64s to front run that high a day. Sorry, correction, 66 high a day, not 65s. I added. Look at this, Joey. Like, this is like one of your adding trades over here.
Brother.
Trying to get a lot better with that, but still a lot more work to do. Keeping an eye here on AEMD, looking for that 66 HOD take. We're posted up at 64, showing me 57s at the moment. Let's see if we got the juice to let this one loose to the high side. It's up 128%, and I'm hoping for more, quite frankly. Let me see what we can glean. AEMD on this one. I just got to look super quick. I don't want to look away from the monitor, because basically what I've done is we're no longer with what's it called, Trade Ideas. So now I am using eSignal for almost everything. So I had to set it up the short float, etc. So you know how you, like, when you're just so programmed to look into one area, but you set up a new program and you don't know exactly where to look. So that's a problem right now with me on this one. I don't know where to look for the float. Okay, 2.4 million share float. I don't know what the short float is. We got to keep looking between the two. I'll get to that one in a second. Anyway, we just popped up into 60, seller at 60, still haven't printed 64s. There it is, Joseph Wilson. We'll take it out there. Now we got one beak wetter left on AEMD. Let's let this one run. I'm going to try to pack my patience over here to see if we can squeeze into 3. AEMD is really going up 138%, holding the day's high. There's another day high there, 68s now, 69 now. Here we go. Let's see if we can get a little bit more on this bad boy. I'm going to pack my patience and see if we can extract some more out of there. Pesky, just got to look at this one super quick. We're still holding it at 16. I still like what I see on this one. There's clearly a buyer in the 1590s. 15 high 80s, so this one hasn't given up the ghost quite yet, but it is not at the high of the day. In fact, it's about 30 pennies removed off said high a day. Back to AEMD, as this one is still very much near high, showing mid to low 60s. We got a 69er high, and there it is. It's a 70 high now. taking out that previous area. Seller at 68 though, super quick as people look to take profits or short for that mean reversion trade. So here's what we're going to do. We got to start the news soon. So I'm going to post up at 77, and if I get the print at 77, I'll be pleased, and then I'll move down my stop, Joey, into break even. We'll let that one go against us a little bit. If it doesn't. Well, let's see if we can get the print. There's a monster seller, 74 now high day. Couldn't continue though above that 75 penny area as people were front running the $0.75 area. Looking back at that seller, came right back into 70. He was shaking for a moment, but he's right back now, 72, 71s. All right, so we won't get it that quickly. We'll have to pack our patience. What do you got, just so that I can set up for
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking at kind of the crypto space here, Bitcoin. I don't want to see the Ethereum chart right now. And it's getting smoked, right? It's about to put in a new low. Just make sure I sit up straight. It's about to put in a new low here. Oh, where'd it go? I lost it. Let's pull it back up here. Where did you go? Oh, okay. Maybe you just decided to up and leave. That's crazy. I got a cramp in my pec. That's crazy too. So there we go. We'll go to NVDA and then we'll pull up the IBIT chart here momentarily. XPEP's still holding up really well here, guys. And that's what I'm talking about. When you have a strong name like this, it's really hard for sellers to just step right in and then push price lower because there's clearly a buy program going on. But IBIT.
Get it, IBIT.
Yeah, it's good. Well, it's not getting it, that's for sure. It's getting slacked for sure, brother. Volume's picking up to the downside. I mean, $64. We had a high on this thing of $70, so the long-term account's just loving that one there. Yeah, it's crazy McDonald's stuff over there. So yeah, that's IBIT. Let's see what ETH.
Did you say crazy McDonald's stuff? Yeah, that's a good one.
Right?
I like it.
Even though I haven't had that in a long, long time. Yeah, there it goes.
That way.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing good over there. $32 and then now cracking some support levels. I thought yesterday we were going to be able to rebound and then maybe run into this 33.31, but it has other plans right now. So swing trade still holding up pretty good, average 27.50. If it comes any bit lower, if we crack and hold 30, then I'll just hop out of that, and I think I'll be able to get a better price on that one there. So yeah, that's that. Let's see if this decides to work today. No, why? Why is it doing that? Do you notice? Like, look, I go onto the secondary thing, and I hit new window, and it's just not doing it.
Oh, then that means you have a prompt that is triggered, and you have to clear the prompt before. So Windows tab.
Yeah.
Together. Windows tab together.
There's tab there. Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Oh, and then you're saying I have something along
you have
the
a
lines
prompt
here?
somewhere that needs clearing. Yeah, I don't see it though.
No, but it does it on my main screen though. Like if I go to this one, it will allow me, but then I have to ungroup it and then send it over there, right? So super user friendly, for sure.
Joey isn't sarcastic at all.
No, I'm just being sarcastic, obviously. But no.
Language.
So yeah, that's what it is. We'll, yeah, I know you got to be able to have a little sarcasm.
All I do speak sarcasm, man.
Sarcastic.
I can't help myself.
But yeah, other than that, Sharif, I'm cool. Let's hop right into this news, my brother, because yeah, nothing going on trade-wise.
All right, let's get to work here. Joey, Walmart had a really good report as far as I'm concerned, but when you look at the chart, it tells a different story. Let's talk about how they did, because I was quite impressed with them. They posted Q2 revenue. Their Q2 revenue, just Q2, guys, $177.4 billion, easily beating the 176.16 by over $1 billion. So fantastic look, in my opinion, there with net income surging. This is their profit. They're printing $7.03 billion in profit on the quarter, about 88 cents a share, easily beating the 56 expected by the street. But when you look at the adjusted EPS, I guess that is the silver lining, because that came in at 68 pennies. I guess the street wanted 74, but the article that I read said it was not directly comparable. Usually that means it was a one-line item that doesn't reoccur in the next quarter, and therefore they're not taking it as a miss. Now, their guidance was raised. They raised their net sales for the Q3 to 3.75 to 4.75% growth, ahead of the previously guided 3 to 4%, so an easy beat there, with their adjusted EPS for Q3 also coming in ahead of expectations, 252 to 262, Katina Man. The street was looking 250 to 260. What's going on over there? The Katina Man's long TQQ's at $86, right? So keep your eye out there. The Katina Men's Long, the TQQs. Let's go on and talk about where their sales drivers came from. Their comparable sales, meaning stores that have been open for longer than a year, 4.6% year-over-year growth in the United States, ahead of expectations. Sam's Club, their discount, their Costco competitor, 5.9% increase year-over-year, easily beating the 5.2 expected by the street. Their e-commerce, this was very, very big number to me. Their e-commerce surged 25% year-over-year. We saw anemic single-digit growth from TJX for their e-commerce. Walmart's blowing them out of the water, man. It grew 25% in the United States and 26% globally. So they're not really seeing a mixed bag of results there. Yep. Now, let's talk about their transactions, what they're calling consumer behavior and traffic. U.S. customer transactions rose 1.5% year over year, and the average ticket price, meaning the average bill per item, 3.1% year over year. The argument you could make there is maybe higher prices because of tariffs, right? Higher income households, they're also spending a lot more at Walmart than they did previously, probably showing that buying pressure as a result of the inflation we suffered over the past few years, as well as maybe some tariffs. Speaking of those tariff, Joey, options.
Yeah.
The CFO said here, John David Rainey, he confirmed tariff costs are rising, but said spending remains resilient. And Walmart, to date, underline that, to date, has absorbed the costs in some categories, but they are going to raise prices on select items. For example, cookware, apparel, and car seats. I don't care about car seats, man. Tell me about that. I want to know anything that matters. So,
yeah.
Joey Options, this was a good report.
I think so, too. Like, if we read a couple more of these numbers here, Sharif, so you can see marketplace sales, revenue grew 46%, but marketplace sales jumped 17%, and membership income increased 15%, in supporting margin expansion even amid cost pressures, as you just mentioned. But I think this is really important to note here, Sharif. So Walmart's grocery and essentials business continues to take share from regional grocery stores, dollar stores, as consumers trade down, but still prioritize fresh and delivered items. Advertising revenue from Walmart Connect grew double digits, now a $3 billion annual run rate, adding a high margin steam to offset retail pricing pressure. So the advertisement is growing as well, too, which is fantastic.
Man. And that's a high margin product.
Absolutely.
Good on you to mention that, man. That's like an 80-some-odd% gross margin.
Big time.
It's big.
Well, we know in the likes of Meta, what their digital ad revenue is just it makes up everything. And now that Walmart is starting to pick up the pace.
Can I make another comment?
Yeah,
so that what's it called? Advertising revenue growth. Do you think that goes hand in hand with their e-commerce? Because the more you go on their website, right?
Absolutely.
The more digital
it's the same thing as Amazon, right?
Yeah.
As we mentioned before, Amazon began the ad revenue, and then now you have Walmart, where we mentioned this before, is that they're starting to take share from regional grocery stores and from Amazon as well, to some of these online deliveries.
Yeah, and that's it's silver linings. Yeah. Obviously, you don't want to hurt the regional retailers, but if you're invested in the name, you like what you hear. Adara LePage, this is an interesting report. I want to really get your take on this because, the market sold off, so clearly something the market doesn't like.
I mean, yeah, I remember reading on this that the guidance, even with the guidance, technically, maybe beating estimates, it was still kind of in line, right? Like they raised their guidance, but it was kind of in line. I think the guidance was the issue. We're seeing the market really wants these beats and raises. And even in the case of Palo Alto Networks, the beat and raise didn't even matter. So that would be my guess. I do have this fun little infographic here on X at TTV Research. This is just, if you think about it, if you zoom out here, this is annual revenue for Walmart. This has been steady growth over the last, this is just in the new millennium. So it has been a good look. Yeah, I think generally this is a pretty solid report, but I think overall guidance, especially this quarter with tariff concerns, that is going to win out. And if your guidance is not exactly what it should be, then you're going to suffer. And I think with Walmart, that guidance was, I think, a little bit more middling than maybe the street wanted.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the guidance was decent, but I want to build on your point there. I think you came on to something really smart in the fact that we don't know exactly how these price increases are really going to affect consumer spending going forward. And so even if you did guide and you're ambitious about your guide, when they did, like, so for example, their net sales growth, they're guiding 3.75 to 4.75. They had previously guided 3 to 4. They also upgraded their EPS from 252 to 262. That was 250 to 260. Not a big upgrade there, so I totally get your point. But how do you know the customer will continue to spend in that way? And how do you know that you won't have pricing pressures if the tariffs don't take shape the way that they currently are formatted? So I totally get your point there that the tariffs sort of are the wild card, something that I didn't think about. Do you have any comment on that?
Yeah, I do. So I have 2 points. For one, even with that adjusted EPS increase, it's still just in line with estimates of 262. So that is a little bit unfortunate, I think, for Walmart. Yeah. And then my other point, kind of going off what you said, I think it's a bit of a catch-22 with regards to tariffs, because sure, that could be increasing their average ticket price. That could be a good thing.
Exactly.
If you have less people shopping there, then your sales overall are going to drop. So I think it's kind of, we're going to have to wait and see what happens. I think you could go either way, and I'm not really comfortable saying what way it's going to go right now.
Well,
but I think either way, there will be some kind of impact. Either maybe you get a decrease in this average ticket price and an increase in sales, or vice versa.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. That could be the wild card there.
One last thing here. I think that Walmart can have the ability to take the Costco approach as well too, by not putting all of the weight on the tariffs onto the consumer, but on certain sections of the store, like the luxury items and the exotic plants, in which Costco did, instead of putting it on the basic common goods like your food and groceries and all the accessories that you need. They kind of shifted that into the exotics and the luxury items that they sell at the store.
Yeah, no, good point. And I do remember this, just from memory, that when the tariffs started coming out, we heard a lot about Walmart pressuring a lot of their suppliers to drop the prices. They wanted their suppliers to take the hit on their margins so they wouldn't suffer it themselves or have to pass it on to the consumer. I didn't really see much of commentary about that in the latest report, so I'd like to hear more about that.
So no rollbacks.
Oh, you're gonna get rollbacks, baby. This Walmart.
So no rollbacks right now.
All right, guys. Let's go on to the next topic over here. Meta finally hitting the pause button on their insane hiring spree. Let's get to this. So Meta confirmed it has paused hiring for its new AI division after a wave of big-ticket hires and acquisitions. The pause, which was first reported by the Wall Street Journal, began last week as a part of a global organizational restructuring and budgeting effort by the company. New internal structure splits Meta's AI efforts into 4 different teams. The first team they're calling the Machine Super Intelligence Lab. Then they have an AI products team, an infrastructures team, and then a long-term exploratory projects team. They're all those 4 teams are grouped under the head Meta Super Intelligence Labs. Okay, so a little on the nose there. Now, as you recall, they're spending aggressively. They poached a lot of people this year. Signing bonuses went as high as $100 million for top AI researchers and engineers. And one of their biggest moves was obviously the acquisition of Scale AI, or the investment, I should say, because they own 49% of it, $14.3 billion. And obviously they want to bring Alexander Wang on. So they bought his entire company. And if you know anything about the Scale AI, they do labeling. And so labeling is very important for the way that the machines or the LLMs show information to people. So they basically wanted to take Scale AI out of the market because Google, a lot of other companies were using them. They're no longer using them because of the acquisition by Meta. Analysts also note the company is now in digestion mode. After several 9-figure hires and acquisitions.
Yeah.
I guess they probably can't go swimming. I don't know. That was bad. My bad.
I'm a little slow, so I don't.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about, bro. You're the one that told me half an hour or whatever.
No, but in all seriousness, Sharif, I don't want to bring up old dirt here, but we know how the street took Mark Zuckerberg just spending too much money on the metaverse. I don't think the street looked at it like this. I think this is more positive, to be honest with you. The street did not like what he was doing for some time and sold off aggressively because he was just CapEx heavy on the metaverse that really, really never took a grab. No one really fell in love with it, in my opinion, at the end of the day. But I think this is going to head into a different direction. I'm super curious to see what he's going to pull up and if he can get Llama right for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be really...
Especially with the talent he's acquired, right? We don't see all of these hyperscalers doing exactly that.
Have you ever used Llama?
I've never used it once.
And it's like, in every app. WhatsApp, it's in Meta, it's in Facebook, it's in Instagram.
Yeah, I have neither.
I don't use it at all.
I have neither of them. That's another reason, right? So, but no, I think he's onto something here. Hopefully it pays off. I think it will pay a dividend at the end of the day. But I'm glad that the street didn't take it like how he did with the metaverse.
Yeah,
and just continuously sell. Because I think it's part of the AI trade as well too, right?
Exactly.
Considering so many of the hyperscalers are CapEx heavy on AI spend, I think that it's a good talent pool that he's put together.
Yeah, I agree with that. Adara, this is an interesting kind of development. You buying this, that they're done hiring?
I mean, yeah, I'm buying it. I just don't think it's that much of a story, honestly, the more I think about it. And I say that because it's not like they're rescinding their hires. It's not like they're giving back 49% of scale AI. They're not really fundamentally making any change here. All they're doing is stopping a thing that they had been doing aggressively. And it makes sense that they're pausing that because they've already acquired so many people and spent so much money. So honestly, I think it's an update more than it is a huge story. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see. And I say that because, again, it's not like they're.
But they were poaching people from other companies. You don't think this applies to the other companies who have their talent poached?
I mean, I guess now they're probably happy they're not going to get poached right now, but that doesn't mean they're going to stop forever. It just means
exactly. That's why my question to you was,
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think, honestly, right now it's kind of a non-story in my opinion, unless they resume or they start poaching more people. But yeah, I think even in terms of the way they frame this strategy, poaching top AI talent, they were getting people from Apple, which has had one of the slowest AI developments of all time. So it's kind of hard to I guess, buy what that strategy was unless these people were being held back by Apple, which we'd have to, I guess, find a little bit more about. But yeah, either way, I mean, I think it was very interesting when it was happening. Now it's not happening anymore, so it's a little less exciting. And I think, I will say for my part, it'll be a little, sad to not have to read about all of the massive acquisitions for the time being, but I suspect they'll pick up pretty quickly. Zuck loves spending money.
Don't you think, Adara, don't you think it's exciting considering how much money he's spent and he's giving these $100 million bonuses? What are these guys going to come up with? What is the next big thing? Is that not slightly exciting?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. So what am I gonna?
That's fair.
But aren't you the anticipation of what they have been doing? Consider you're not going to spend all this money and just come up with nothing empty-handed at the end of the day, right?
You could though. That's the other thing. You could spend all this money and come up with Bob Kiss, User Sharif. And that's actually the thing is. So I don't know. I think honestly, the pause it's notable, but it's also not that surprising given that they spent X amount of effort, X amount of money doing these acquisitions. Yeah. They couldn't acquire people forever. Into infinity.
Yeah, exactly. It had to be. Yeah, so fair. So what I'm really looking for, to be honest with you, what my thinking is, does he have the pieces in place, kind of like a chess board? You know what I mean? Did he put all the pieces in place that he thinks that he needs to kind of get that next level out there? That's my thinking. Because why would Zug be motivated to pause? Obviously, other than spending money, unless that he feels he's got the right pieces, and now it's just about manifesting and moving forward. I don't know. That's
why he put the teams together, right? There's specific teams that he put together. So I think he knows what he's doing, and I think he has a game plan. So that's why I believe.
We'll see.
I'm excited to see what they come up with.
Go.
So because it's, this whole AGI or whatever, the super intelligence, it hasn't been discovered yet. So how do you know how to discover something that has not yet been discovered?
Very good point.
And
Very
that's
good
my final point. So I don't, I don't know. I have some faith in
No, and to build on your point, you have a very good point, because a lot of people are saying the information and the actual content that's going to come out of artificial super intelligence won't really be understandable to humans to one extent. So it's you can't really understand what you've achieved. We're going to have to wait. Yeah, we're going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait to find out what they can do. Let's go on to the next story. Massimo suing the U.S. Customs Department over the Apple Watch dispute. So they're letting the Apple Watch come in now from Asia with the built-in oximeter. I think they're calling it blood oxygen reading technology. Massimo not happy about that. As a result, they filed a lawsuit out in D.C. federal court against the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agency. The company claims that CBP improperly reversed a prior decision and allowed Apple to import watches with the blood oxygen reading technology without notifying Massimo. Massimo says they found out about it on the 1st of August after Apple announced that they were returning the blood oxygen feature to its watches. So it's not like they were notified. They accuse, in case you're wondering what's this Massimo Apple thing, Massimo accuses Apple of poaching their employees as well as stealing their pulse oximetry technology for use on Apple Watches. Separate lawsuits for the patent infringement and trade secret theft are already ongoing in federal court, so that is a separate issue. And in case you just were wondering, that Apple was actually in talks to acquire Massimo or their technology. Talks broke down. Apple went their own way. Massimo accuses them of stealing their technology and stealing their employees. In 2023, the U.S. International Trade Commission blocked imports of Apple's Series 9 and Ultra Watch 2 watches, ruling that Apple infringed Massimo's patents. Since then, Apple's only sold redesigned models without the pulse oximetry feature to comply with the ruling. We're going to pause for a second. Adara has got news.
I really just quickly want to mention this 30-year bond auction, TIPS auction. It wasn't super significant. The yield was at 2.673% before the auction. The auction high yield comes in at 2.65%, so not a huge difference. The auction slightly lower here than the previous high yield market. Doing initially a little bit of a bounce, but again, nothing super massive here, guys. I just wanted to mention that. Back to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll just go on with the rest of this over here. So on August 14th, Apple said it would re-enable the blood oxygen readings in its smartwatches with the customs approval. Massimo argues the CBP provided no justification and effectively created a loophole that undermines the International Trade Court's ruling, which is kind of how they had that. Should I do it now, Assassino? A few seconds. Okay, no problem. Joey, we're just going to wait for a second because now we can do it. In Africa, a new generation of leaders is rising. The woman boss empowers them. We provide the training and mentorship women and girls need to start businesses, create change, and build sustainable futures. We've already impacted over 10,000 lives. Your contribution creates the next opportunity. Scan the QR code now. Empower the next woman leader today. Shout out to the woman boss. Woman boss, yeah. I was reading that wrong. Joey, this is kind of a small deal for Apple. I don't know how many watches they didn't sell because there was no blood oxygen reading. What's your take on this?
Well, I mean, so I'm just reading some of these numbers here as well, Sharif. So the wearables are about $40 billion annually. But one thing I think is key to know. So Massimo has a reputation for aggressively defending its IP. Past litigation has led to multi-million-dollar settlements with other medical device firms. So now, with that being said, if Massimo succeeds, Apple may be forced into licensing agreements or further redesigns, potentially delaying feature rollouts and future watch models. So, curious to see how that plays out. I mean, we know that Apple is broken out here. The watches bring in $40 billion. Is it a major needle mover for it? Maybe, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I think they still need to figure out what they got going on with AI. That's everything. The first and foremost, I think this is pennies on the dollar essentially for these guys. But yeah, it's just get this AI rollout, find a way to monetize.
Adara, their wearables division was one of the two divisions that didn't do well on their last report that dropped year over year. It was the iPads and wearables. Does this move the needle?
I mean, I don't think so. I think this is mostly just Massimo crying because they're mad at a massive company. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. And nothing against Massimo, but just the fact that, they can't sue Apple, now they're going to sue like customs and border. Like, what is happening? But I actually also want to mention here this AREC. This stock actually pushing higher, decent volume. I checked about 1.5 million shares traded so far today, featured in an article in USA Today. Now, this article came out about an hour ago, but it's just being circulated here on X now. So AREC on Watch American Resources Corporation. That move, honestly, is probably more interesting than this Apple Massimo story. I'm not gonna lie.
Adara's dropping fire today, bro. All right, okay, see you. Let me just throw in a stop over here on my friend Pesky, as it did kind of break down a little bit. So we've gotten some out, but we got to make sure we're managing risk in the right way. So that's through my stop in there. AEMD breaking out. Let's get back to the next story over here. Let's go on to Boeing. This is probably a bigger needle mover than this Massimo story. Boeing was up, at least in the pre-market, to the tune of 2.5% after reports surfaced of a potential large-scale China aircraft deal, possibly turning a profit for the company. which has faced a prolonged sales drought in China since back in 2017 when they started having issues with their airplanes. Let's leave it like that. Boeing and Chinese officials are discussing aircraft types, volumes, delivery schedules as part of the deal that could involve up to 500 jets. Chinese regulators, for their part, are actively consulting with their domestic airlines to find out what the demand situation is there so they can clearly earmark that to Boeing. But it's not just all sunshine and rainbows for Boeing in China. No. China has a concurrent Airbus deal that they could lean on. So the developing Boeing deal is set to mirror a very similar 500 jet order arranged with Airbus, though China has not made that order public. And a lot of people are saying they're playing the two companies against each other. We'll have to wait and see how it all works out. But there's another angle to this. Obviously, China and the United States are engaged in a trade deal negotiation right now. And a lot of people are saying that Boeing could be used as a piece in that negotiation. So sources have stressed that the arrangement, or the agreement, depends heavily on the U.S.-China trade relations improving. Well, we know that Donald Trump kicked the can down the road 90 days with respect to tariffs. Negotiations, Joey, could still collapse if broader geopolitical tensions remain unresolved.
Yeah. I mean, we know what Boeing's been through. It's obviously been a turbulent ride with this name. There's no questioning that. But China accounts for roughly 20% of global aircraft demand, which I found extremely interesting. But I find it weird how I understand they don't want to sell them the high-end chips, but why is it any different with aircraft? I don't know. That's just how I think of it. Obviously, it's tough to compare the two, but at the end of the day, why are you going to sell China your best plane at your best air company, essentially what aircraft company is what I'm getting at, but then not want to sell them a lesser version of your hybrid chips?
Well, I got pushed back a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely,
right?
do so.
So Donald wants them, NVIDIA and AMD, to sell to China. He just doesn't want them selling
the best version,
the B200 and the B300. So you even saw your friend Donald there basically say, hey, make a scaled down version of Blackwell that you can sell to China. That's like about 50% is good.
Fair enough.
Right. So I think that Jensen has gotten into Donald's ear that let's keep the Chinese reliant on American technology. So number one, they don't look elsewhere. And number two, they're not as quick to build it in-house. So
and you can do these actually with the aircrafts and everything along those lines, which, yeah, that's fair. That's fair for sure. So
what's your look on this, Adara? This is Boeing, Kelly Ortberg. Is he getting the job done?
I would absolutely say so. And so I'm always going to show this infographic because I think it's kind of funny and disturbing at the same time. So here are the 8 most recent Boeing CEOs, including incumbent CEO Kelly Ortberg. Now, you can actually read more about this if you can look on the infographic on X at TTV Research. But 4 of these individuals, Condit, Stonecipher, Muehlenberg, and Calhoun, resigned in disgrace. 2 of these individuals, Bell and Smith, were both only interim CEOs. And now, W. James McNerney, he did not resign in disgrace, but after he resigned, he was actually considered, and I am not joking here, one of the worst CEOs in American history, because a lot of, I guess, the policies that he had put in place and some of the cost-cutting measures he had done were attributed, I guess, 2 years later, resulting in some of those crashes we had in 2018, 2019.
Crazy.
So with that in mind, Kelly Ortberg is the only non-CEO or non-interim CEO yet who has not resigned in disgrace, who is not considered the worst CEO in American history. That is a lot to put on one man's shoulders. However, right now he's been doing a bang-up job. This is as of probably a couple of weeks ago. I think it was early August. The stock's up 41% as of that point since his tenure began just over a year ago on August 8th, 2024. I think he's doing a fabulous job. I think you're seeing that his leadership is really trusted in the airline industry. And it seems to be by this administration as well, as far as we can tell.
Yeah,
we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, I think, honestly, it makes sense that China and the U.S. have a couple different conduits in this trade war, right? This is one of them. I would say the chips are another major one, rare earths. So yeah, I mean, I think Boeing is probably the smallest potato on that stack of potatoes. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I think the chips are a lot more pressing of an issue. And we know that rare earths has been really seen as a make it or break it for the deal. So with that in mind, I still think Boeing is massive, but I think it's comparatively smaller. So that's my take there on BA.
Fair enough. One last thing to add to Adara's point, up 74% off of the April lows, which is good stuff.
And that's not even at the local area high.
So it's up.
Get it, Kelly.
Let's go on to the next story. Trump blocks renewables amid rising U.S. power demand. What are we talking about? We're talking about solar. We're talking about wind. So President Trump, there it is, declared his administration will not approve solar or wind power projects, calling them farm destroying and stupidity on Truth Social following last month's move to centralize renewable permitting under the Interior Secretary, Doug Burgum, of course, raising concerns about projects being blocked outright. Elon obviously responded on X saying that that doesn't make any sense and, basically saying a small piece of the Sahara Desert, if you put all the solar panels there, I don't know how many square kilometers it could power the entire world. We've heard that data before. Renewable energy companies fear that normal project approvals could still stall, jeopardizing billions in what's already planned solar and wind investments. U.S. electricity demand does need more capacity with demand, far outpacing supply, especially in the PJM interconnection, which covers about 13 states. Capacity prices have jumped 22% year over year in that PJM connection in the latest auction. There are also the issues of retiring some of these coal plants and surging AI data center demand are tightening supply just as renewables are being blocked. We also know that as more EVs come online, they're going to require more juice as well, not just these data centers. There's also legislative and policy moves. So Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act eliminates wind and solar tax credits by 2027, not quite yet, removing some key incentives for companies to get in this that could have, fueled the renewable expansion. And also, Joseph, the USDA, which is not something we typically associate solar power with, that's a farm thing, they ended their support for solar power on farmland this week, further tightening the policy against renewables. So not like the solar stocks were not under pressure already, but more pressure.
I just think it's weird to kind of sway away from green energy, considering they have one of the largest deserts on the planet, I guess, in Arizona. And as you mentioned before, Sharif, it's like you cover a couple square kilometers of the Sahara Desert and probably the same thing in Arizona, and you can generate power for the world. So I don't understand why you would sway from that and then lead into something like nuclear energy. For me, it's a head scratcher in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Your friend Elon is not a fan at all.
No, it's a head scratcher. Why would you not do that? It's significant. Like a wind turbine is going to cause more damage than establishing a whole nuclear plant. I don't know.
And he doesn't just attack like the American wind farms. Like he also goes after Europe as well. He's like, you're killing your landscape.
It's like naturally generated energy. I don't understand why you would sway from that.
I guess he doesn't like the way they look.
Yeah, I don't know. Wait, you don't have to be there at the end of the day. You don't got to go out to the desert.
No.
Like, you can have all your solar panels. You can go somewhere that's windy.
There's a monster solar plant between LA and Vegas.
Is there? Yeah, right.
And you can see it from far away because it's like all these mirrors.
The panels, and they're reflecting.
One mirror, right? So you can just see it from really far away. Adara, this is a bit of a pressure here on these renewables. What's your look?
I think solar's been so back and forth and sideways lately. Like this, we had that massive rally back on Friday, and then they're dropping again, and then CSIQ, which I know we'll get to later, they had earnings. So it's like the solar is all herky-jerky right now. I'll just show this Truth Social post from Trump where he announced it because I think it's amazing. The days of stupidity are over in the USA, 3 exclamation points, quote unquote. So, yeah, I think Trump feels very strongly about this. We know how he feels about windmills as well. And if you have not heard him talk about windmills, you are missing out. So what I'll say is it's not super shocking. We kind of knew this going into it. And I think as well, we'll have to see. To my knowledge, I don't think Elon has opined on this yet. But
he has.
He has already.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I know that we know Elon is certainly on the other side of Trump on this issue. So I think with regards to any hope of their friendship or their love fest ever being rekindled, I don't think this helps that matter. I'm not sure if that's a pressing issue right now, but it could be interesting going forward. And I'm going to go back on this Elon thing as well, because we know that this America party that he wants to start, J.D. Vance yesterday just said that would be an error for him to get involved. So if they want him to stop the America party, probably the best way to do that is to get him back in their good
But did you hear?
Or vice versa.
Did you hear that there's rumors now that Elon may want to abandon his ambitions for an America party? Instead, he wants to back J.D. Vance for the next election. We'll have to wait and see. It's obviously speculation.
I thought he was done with
Trump
politics.
doesn't even seem like he's that heavy on backing Vance lately, because lately he's been
Feel that, right?
Marco Rubio is also an option. And I'm like, like, if I was JD Vance, I'd be crying myself to sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that could be an interesting development. But either way, I think this solar, if you look at it from the Trump-Musk perspective, I think that's an angle too.
Yeah, good point, Adira. I think Donald doesn't like windmills because he hasn't seen me do one yet.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. I mean, a lot of people are putting in some solid points. Our boy Greg says, haven't paid an electric bill since he put solar panels on his home.
Dang.
And then to look on the opposite side of this, respectfully, green energy projects are shutting down because they do not make money. Fossil fuels are cheaper and better.
For now, though.
For now, yeah.
Now, yeah.
I mean, but think about how you have to get to fossil fuels, right? Yeah. So at the end of the day, is it better that you have to destroy the planet to get to this stuff? Right? I don't know.
Let's go on to the next story, Joey. Options. We're going to talk about some Google launching the Pixel 10 with AI-powered Gemini assistant. So let's talk about this. So Google unveiled the Pixel 10 family, headlined by the Gemini AI assistant and new camera features. Here's what they're dropping, guys. They're dropping the basic Pixel 10. That's going to run you $799 US. Then you can get the Pixel 10 Pro. That'll run you $200 more at $1,000, $999. And then the Pixel Pro XL, which is the bigger screen, that's about $1,200. And last but not least, their flagship device is going to be a foldable. That's going to run you $1,800 US. The Fold features the largest, according to this article, foldable inner display at 8 inches and reinforced hinge, and the multitasking split screen functions, which you hope the foldable has. Otherwise, why am I getting a foldable if I can't multifunction? But this is the big needle mover here, at least according to Google, the AI integration with Gemini. Yes. So Pixel 10 devices highlight Gemini as a central differentiator with features like Magic Q that anticipates needs. This is pretty cool, Joseph. Look at this. Surfacing flight info when you call an airline. So say you call a 1-800 number and Gemini knows that 1-800 number belongs to an airline. It'll go through your emails and it'll pop up all your airline info. So maybe you have your flight number or whatever. That's pretty cool. Obviously, privacy concerns come with that. So Gemini Live also can interact in real time with what's on the phone screens, built on Google's Project Astra image recognition. And then all the Pro phones come with a 1-year free Alt AI Pro subscription, which is typically about $19 a month, giving access to advanced Gemini tools and extra storage. There's also a camera coach, and it's going to provide live guidance on angles, lighting, composition. The new AI tools here can merge similar photos into one where everyone looks their best. And the competitive landscape between them and Apple, they're obviously their biggest competitor. The launch comes ahead of Apple's September iPhone refresh, with Google aiming to capitalize on Apple's delayed Siri updates until 2026. In fact, Joey, they're actually mocking Apple in their latest ad campaign and the delays that came with Apple AI, framing Pixel as the first AI alternative.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's fantastic what they got going on, to be honest with you. You mentioned if you have the Google phone, you can be like, hey, Google, where did I leave my keys? And it can tell you. So the AI generation is absolutely fantastic. But one thing that I want to know is I want to see how much year over year, quarter over quarter, phone sales are rising. And if they are, and then how much of market share is that going to take from Apple, considering we do like what they see. You have the ability to try on clothes without physically being in the store. You remember our guy Marquise Brownlee was doing that with the Google phone as well, too. So I think they have a lot in the pipeline, and I think it's looking really, really good. But the biggest competitor is Apple, and I'm curious to see how much market share they can actually steal from them, because we know the ecosystem of this phone and how popular it is.
Yeah, and front-running them, too. Like, what is it, the 21st today? So Apple, we said maybe the 9th of September.
But I think that's fantastic. The fact that, like you mentioned, you can call an airline and be like, hey, blah, blah, instead of scrolling through multiple emails and be like, oh, here's my booking number, here's this, here's my receipt. It all just pops up on the screen for you. I think that's fantastic. You know why I love that, Sharif?
Why?
Because I have to do that. I have to do that with Air Canada. So I think it would be. So I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, we'll get to that story. I know that you've got a lot of to get off your chest there. Adira, do you like anything here? I mean, clearly there's some cool features, but I like the strategy of front-running Apple's event.
Yeah, it's a really smart way to do it. I think Google's Gemini event's usually a little bit before the Apple event, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
or like
you're right.
around the same time, so it's not super shocking timing. But yeah, I think them going after Apple directly is really smart, because if you are someone who is an Apple head, but you want that AI option, Google's beat you to it. On the other hand, though, Sharif, this alone, on the flip side, to make a very obvious pun, that doesn't seem to be enough to keep Google customers because, Brendan Wickens, a very notable Google Pixel user, apparently just switched to iPhone, and I had no idea until just now. So
former Google Pixel user.
Can you show us your iPhone?
I'm pretty shocked. So yeah, I think
can you show us
either
your
way,
iPhone?
Google can do whatever kind of advertisement it wants to do. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to keep users, as evidenced by this anecdotal example there.
There it is, Adara. Live in living color, Brendan Wickens.
So no case
holding an iPhone.
No case on it either?
And he's completely... Get it, Adara. I know, right? And he has no case on it, Adara.
Yeah,
he's living dangerous.
He's raw dogging the phone. He's raw dogging the case, which is crazy.
No, but your points are very well taken, Adara. Yeah, this is definitely something that Google needs to make sure they hold on to because... well, this has happened in the past to them. All right, let's go on to the next story over here. Disney launching ESPN flagship streaming app. So I don't understand why it took ESPN this long. I think our version of ESPN, which is called TSN's, had this for like years. I don't know what the hell is going on over here. But anyway, Disney rolled out its new ESPN streaming app on Thursday, giving fans full access to ESPN's linear TV networks for the first time ever via direct streaming. It's only 2025. Existing cable subscribers automatically get access while non-cable users can subscribe directly. The goal here, to expand their reach beyond the traditional pay TV bundle ahead of the football season, obviously. So here's what they're offering. You can get an unlimited plan. That'll run you about $30 a month or about $300 a year. You're going to get 47,000 live events, NCAA, PGA, Australian Open, etc. You don't want to spend that much or you want a bundle? Disney Hulu bundle. You're going to get that for $36 a month. That's with ads. If you don't want it with ads, you're going to have to ante up $45 a month. The promotional offer currently is running around $30 with ads for the year. And then the last one, that Fox One partnership that we talked about weeks ago with ESPN and Fox, that starts October 2nd. It's going to have ESPN plus the Fox One bundle. That'll run you about $40 a month. It's going to cover sports, news, entertainment. Pay TV customers get it for free. Now, what's the content? So the streaming apps include, you're going to get ESPN, ESPN2, the SEC network, ESPN on ABC. You're going to get fantasy and betting integration, studio programming, as well as documentaries, and we know that they struck a deal with WWE as well as the NFL. So you're going to get all sorts of sports on that bad boy.
Yeah, it's weird, but they're also losing my favorite sport at the end of 25 as well, too.
Hockey?
No, that's going to be UFC because now of that Paramount deal. But we know, right? So I was curious to see what was going on with that. So there you go. They lose some, they gain some. But at the end of the day, we know that Disney Plus was losing money for quite some time, and then also subscriber growth wasn't growing, but they're starting to pick up steam, and I like this deal that they got going on here. But for me personally, it's the UFC, and unfortunately, they're no longer going to have that deal. That's going to be ESPN Plus.
No, and like quite frankly, I'm kind of surprised it took them this long to launch it. Adara, any comments about this arrangement over here? I like kind of the ESPN Fox One deal a little bit, but other than that, it's not really needle moving.
Yeah, I mean, A, as you said, they're late to the game, and B, I think honestly, a lot of people who like sports, who like that live sports, maybe you're probably still watching cable, right? I don't really know. Is it worth it to get this bundle if you're not someone who already subscribes to something?
Yeah. If
all you want is sports, I think not. Quite frankly, I think it's probably not something you're going to really care about or want, unless you're let's say you've got a larger family and you're already going to be looking at Disney Plus or Hulu, and then also, maybe the dad or the brother or the mom or whomever wants to watch ESPN as well. And as Joe said, if they're not going to have every sport, I don't really know what the incentive is to get it. Yeah. I'm someone who, right now, I'm honestly considering just canceling all of my subscriptions because you can find other ways to watch things. So,
other ways.
It's not always, you know what I mean? It's not always necessary. And I think it's going to be that situation of no one network or no one subscription is going to get you everything you want.
No.
And in this case, I think your pool is probably extremely limited.
Except IPTV.
Oh,
sorry, my
is
bad.
that,
I didn't
what
mean
did
to
you
cough
say?
there.
No, but to add to Adara's point, is like how many subscriptions is too many? You got Netflix, you got your Amazon Prime, you got your Disney Plus, and all the HBO. It's like, okay, so now we're kind of oversubscribed here, and you can just dumb that down essentially and just find something that's a one solid platform. I don't think we're going to be able to in this case, other than using what Sharif just said, and I'm not going to repeat it.
Well, I will say, too, with Amazon Prime seems to be probably the most functional of these subscriptions because you can use it as well for ordering, right? Now, their content is... I'll say that about Amazon Prime content.
I barely open it, Adara. I have it. I barely open it.
Yeah. It's like a bonus in addition
It is.
to... Now, they used to have a lot of Law & Order. Their Law & Order content, as of now, I haven't checked in a while. Not sure how good it is currently.
They have forensic files as well, by the way.
they?
Yes, and they have the new one, Adara.
They got some low-key good ones there.
I'm a Tubi girl. I like Tubi because you got they think they have all the original seasons of like the new Degrassi. They've got a lot of British crime shows. Like there's ways to do things for free. Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh,
I got you.
Back to ESPN. Yeah, I mean I don't know really enough about sports. I think to properly opine on this, but I don't think it would move the needle for people.
Joey, I just got to interrupt for a second. APM is absolutely breaking out right now. Be careful, guys. Thank you, Tisha, for pointing this out. City Boy 305, he's talking about it. This thing is on the warpath to the high side, the high of the day. Where are you, 420 Bud Monster? 420 on the dot. Trade this carefully, guys. APM on the NQ up 216%. Sorry to interrupt you, Joey.
No. I think it just to add to this conversation as of sports, it's the big sports deals as well. So we know that with the ESPN deal and the NBA, it's taking a pretty penny out of their pockets. Like these are expensive deals when you're striking billion-dollar deals with the NFL and NBA. So that's obviously margin compression as well too, considering the amount of money that you're spending.
I forgot about that.
Right? Considering the amount of money that you're spending. So it's tough. Me personally, I think there's too many subscriptions. It's getting crazy.
Like what, dude? TSN's had this since like 2015. What are we talking about here?
Brother.
It's 2025, and we're at the end of 2025.
And
they're launching a streaming app now.
Yeah.
There must have been a strategic reason why they didn't do this. Don't tell me it's a technology.
And I think it's so late because now you got Paramount Plus starting to pick up some steam, and then if you want to go to other sports, you got DAZN as well too. So it's just like, how many of these things are you going to watch? I understand the concept. You want to be able to make money and be profitable off of this stuff, but at some point people are going to start dropping some of these subscriptions, and it's going to leave with one, and whoever can have the best and the largest sports deals, I think are going to come out on top, in my opinion.
Boom. Let's go on to the next story, Joey. This one you guys will like a lot more, especially if you like NVIDIA. Oh boy, UBS reaffirming its buy rating on NVIDIA, but they raised the price target up from 175 to 205, implying about a 17% upside from yesterday's close. I don't know where it's at, so at 174.5. The upgrade reflects, according to the UBS, strong AI chip demand signals, especially from data centers. I'm shocked about that. These guys want to get their hands on AI chips from NVIDIA for their data centers. Never heard of such a thing. There are B200. Their GB means they're pairing these together. So the difference between the B200 and the GB, that means that there's not one single chip. So the GB will be dual with the 200 and the 300. So they're saying NVIDIA's GB200 and GB300 rack partners suggest 30,000 racks could be deployed this year, just with what's remaining of the year, with a strong ramp up expected in Q4 of this year. The demand backdrop, according to UBS, remains very strong as ever, to use their words. And we know that NVIDIA has struck a deal with the United States government, at least from what's being reported, to resume sales of their H20 chips in China in exchange for ending up 15% of their Chinese revenue, not profit, revenue. UBS believes NVIDIA has already placed new Hopper wafer orders and may be developing a Blackwell version tailored for China as U.S. export ceiling evolved. We reported to you guys on that a couple of days ago about that new Blackwell variant that's going to be China specific. And it's going to have about 30 to 50% of the capacity of a regular Blackwell. We're going to have to wait and see exactly what the details are in that. According to UBS, this latest move with China could add a few $1 billion per quarter back onto the NVIDIA's revenue run rate, which is obviously needle moving. UBS expects NVIDIA to post about $1 billion revenue beat for the second quarter. And do not forget, catch that. earnings report with myself, Neil, and Adara next Wednesday, making it a high-stakes event, obviously, for traders. Make sure you catch that with us on the Market Recap Show. Joey, options.
All right, guys, new traders, listen up. First month free. That's right, we're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data. Global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading?
Yes.
Scan the QR code. Check the link in the description. It's how we go. So you analyze,
is how we do. No, seriously though, this is clearly, dude. I mean, we're talking about a nice revenue beat here. They're talking about $1 billion revenue beat, and like quite frankly, NVIDIA's exceeded. Like, I think since 2023 every single time. So,
well, I think they went through that major growth cycle in like 22 is when it started, when it really ramped up, no?
23.
Was it 23? Early 23 when it really started to pick? Wow.
The chat came out in November 22. Right?
Okay, so that's when the AI trade,
exactly.
I guess, started to pick up. No, I mean, Sharif, I'll say it again. I said it once, I'll say it again. As soon as they went across the pond and started striking all these golf deals, it was irrelevant to me, essentially, what the H20 was going to do over there in China. I was bullish this name from that point, and that's when I started to buy this stock because, again, you're just expanding its customer base, and I think they're going to have the ability to do so. I mentioned Stargate all the time. That's big time, but then you got to think about what they got going over in those Gulf countries, as I just mentioned. They're just kind of getting started. Their AI infrastructure is relatively new, and I think NVDA is going to be one of the primary beneficiaries of that growth cycle, considering they already have billion-dollar deals struck over there. I think it's just the start of that. And we didn't really talk about Europe that much. Like,
there's a reason why.
Yeah, there is a reason.
I don't really want to rag on them, but they're super behind.
Right?
Anyway, whatever. Adara, before that whole chip ban that the previous administration put in about some of the exports of these advanced chips to China, China was about 20% of NVIDIA's revenue. It's now down to 13%, and it's declining quarter over quarter. Does this new China-specific model kind of move the needle? I'll put that question to you, then whatever you want to add.
Yeah, I think it could move the needle, but it's not going to move the needle this quarter. So I think UBS is maybe being a little early with this note. Although, to be fair, they do recognize, and a lot of this note does have to do with forward guidance, so I'll give them that. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they will beat. They pretty much always beat. But the one thing with NVIDIA that I want to mention is that if they miss on any tiny metric, and I said this before and I will continue to say it, they will get squashed like a tiny bug. They can miss gross margin by like 0.5% and they'll drop.
What did she say?
I just need to let you guys know, like, it does not matter what they beat. It does not matter what they post. It doesn't matter what they guide. If they miss anything by any tiny amount, the market will not care. This stock does not have to be good. It needs to be perfect. It needs to be a star in order to do well, and we've seen that consistently, so I'm going to stand by that. Also, this is the name I'm most excited about on earnings. The name I'm most excited about earnings on next week is CrowdStrike. So, yeah, I mean, NVIDIA will still be cool, but after the bell, we'll also get some cybersecurity heavy hitters like Snowflake, CrowdStrike. We're going to get as well Five Below. We're going to get our friend HP. So I think NVIDIA will be a headliner, but by no means is it the only headliner next week.
No, but it's the big one,
though.
Yeah,
I think this infographic really shows how quickly, like, NVIDIA's growth kind of picked up.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that 25
From
number,
2023 to 2024, massive increase. Yeah, 2025 would be worth noting as well because they're already in fiscal 26, so I'll have to add that. But either way, I mean, great look. The growth for this company has been seriously impressive, and I suspect it will continue. But with regards to the stock reaction, you know, traders have short-term mindsets, and I do think anything NVIDIA posts is going to matter.
I'm a star boy.
Yeah, you're a star boy. No, so essentially, I didn't hear what she said, obviously, but she's saying that the stock
squash like a bug if it misses.
If it misses, I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. So essentially, what we're going out is price to perfection. I understand that, but I just mentioned something not too long ago. You're still striking deals across the pond. They're growing their global consumer base, and then also not even that. Look at the CapEx from some of these hyperscalers. Where is most of that money going?
To NVIDIA.
Into their pockets. So at the end of the day, I don't think that this is completely price to perfection, considering how much we're off of those lows. I mean, it's over 100%, 110% to be exact. But I think, considering we're still so AI and CapEx heavy right now, I think there's some room to grow because I don't see it slowing down. There's no signal of them slowing things down. If anything, it might ramp up a little.
All right, I want to stay on this story for a little bit longer because I want to bring in the tariff angle, and I want to bring back Adira to give her opinion on this. So we know that Donald Trump wants to impose 100% tariffs on semiconductor imports into the United States.
Yep.
NVIDIA, you could make the argument, bought themselves a bit of a reprieve vis-a-vis this 15% of Chinese revenues, right? They kind of skirt that a little bit. My question is, does that last, right? Especially if NVIDIA, you know, maneuvers in a way where, you know, they follow the letter of the law, but not really. And then, on top of that, as NVIDIA's revenues in China expand, do they look to restrike a deal?
With Donald and China?
Yeah, because 15% of, say, 10 billion is one thing. 15% of 75 billion is an entirely different story.
Absolutely, and I mean, think about it. So if that's going to be the case with the H20 and the lesser version of the Blackwell, anything less than 15%, I think adds more fuel to this stock's name. Why? Because that's more income that they get to keep at the end of the day. So I mean, if they have to pay that up front, and then guess what? They're bringing in more and more. The more money you get, the less tax that we're going to pay. Then that's going to benefit NVDA for sure.
Before we bring in Dara, I just want to jag 8322. That's a good point. It's safe because they are investing in the USA. That's what Trump said after the Cook meeting. You're absolutely right on that. That is one of the things that's kind of helping them a little bit. And what we're talking about here is the investment that they're actually putting into the Taiwan semi-fab in Arizona, which I have more to say about. Adira, I want to bring you back in for a second just on this tariff point. Do you think that Jensen can kind of keep the 100% tariff away from him by striking a deal with the United States?
I mean, here's the thing. At this point, basically every company is immune from tariffs if they keep making deals with the U.S. And so at that point, what's the point of tariffs? Like, quite frankly, quite honestly, because we saw that with when they announced the massive semiconductor tariffs. But unless you invest in the U.S. And so the market actually jumped because everybody was invested in the U.S. So tariff threats are such a moot point if your own tariff policy is going to basically negate the inclusion of half these companies in your own tariff parameters. So, I mean, I think, honestly, we know Trump has said tariffs is his favorite word in the dictionary, tariffs plural specifically. But, I mean, I think the way he's implementing them, I'm not saying, by all means, I'm not saying that we should have harsher tariffs, but I'm saying if he wants harsher tariffs, the way he's doing it is not working because literally by definition, by trying to make these companies exempt that have, you know what I mean, have been, I guess, investing in the U.S., you're having it so that no one's really having any tariffs. So I'm a little confused by the policy.
Right.
NVIDIA might be immune, that's fine. But I think in the end, it's going to maybe, I wonder if, because everybody's going to be immune, if the tariff policy starts to change.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I got to agree with you. I'm going to agree with you to an extent there, but I think it's done something about reshoring some investment into the United States. Maybe not to the extent that he wanted or what other people envisioned, but you can't say that no net new money has come in.
Well,
I mean,
we'll see if it lasts, though.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. It's got to continue. Exactly. Well said, Adira. Let's go on to the next one over here, the Fed minutes. Let's talk about these. They came out yesterday at 2, and they disclosed to us some of the Fed thinking. So just, you know, we only get the minutes. The transcripts for the actual meeting come out 5 years later. I don't know why. Anyway, July meeting minutes revealed a clear divide among policymakers. Most of the policymakers preferred holding rates steady, while Governors Christopher Waller and Michelle Bowman dissented, pushing for immediate cuts. This marks, as you guys know, as we reported to you guys, the first time in over 30 years that multiple governors voted against the rate decision, underscoring, obviously, the internal tensions that are continuing to brew. Fed officials debated whether inflation risks or labor market weakness posed the greater threat. So they're looking, do we get more inflation? Which is important, more inflation or labor market weakness? The majority emphasized the upside inflation risk, partly tied to tariffs, while the minority flagged the downside risk of employment as more pressing. So they were split on the issue. The minutes acknowledged, let me just move that down, the minutes acknowledged that the Fed may face difficult trade-offs if inflation persists, while job data weakens even further. Trump's tariffs were central, I should say, to the discussion, while members citing considerable uncertainty about how higher import costs could feed into the inflation narrative. They also talked, Joey, they described economic growth in the first half of 2025 as tepid, with consumer spending slowing and cracks emerging in the labor market. That's not what you want to hear. Even before the weak July payrolls data was released, officials noted that employment risks had already been meaningfully underway. And the subsequent data confirmed payroll growth was weaker than initially reported, Joey, for May, June, and you guessed it, July.
Jobless claims came in a little hot this morning as well, too.
They did.
I don't know. I think they're in a tough position right now. You have the current administration pushing for a cut. Then you have PPI coming in a little hotter than expected. But then you have CPI that was cooler on a year-over-year basis. So for me personally, I don't know. I don't know what camp I sit in. Actually, I do. I don't think we need a cut. And it's for the simple reason of I don't want to see inflation start to reignite, considering we got tariff inflation is transitory, and we're not supposed to use that word. But for me personally, it's just that I don't want to see that CPI on a month-over-month, year-over-year basis start to increase once again.
Yeah, neither do I, dude. And that was a tough time. And we're still reeling from that, bro. I mean, I'm still looking at some of these stakes, that I got to ante up, $30-40 for a couple of,
The top strip loins, it's like
crazy.
For 2 of them, you got to pay $20.
And it's not even plateauing, Joey. It's still going up.
Right? It's essentially the rate of change of things and how fast the price is actually accelerating. But at the end of the day, I think I'm in a pause camp. I think I don't think
You're not about
right now. No.
All right, there was so much in this report, Adair. I don't want to narrow any one thing. What was your overall take? I know you weren't here yesterday, but you probably did a deep dive.
Yeah, no, I think one thing I will say is that, I want to talk quickly about Jackson Hole. I haven't even posted this infographic yet, but this is a real photo of Jerome Powell looking a little like he just hit the gym. And so, Jackson Hole is, as you can see, these performances in Jackson Hole, the one-day performances have been super, super choppy, right? Now, the last 2 years, so 2023, 2024, both the SPY and the Q have been relatively stable, up about 1%. But we've had some massive drops, particularly in 2019 and 2022, right? So I think it's worth noting you can get some big moves on Jackson Hole Day, and I just want to preface everything with that. And we're going to talk a little bit more about Cook in the next set of commentaries. So I'm going to save some comments here. But I sit up at this desk, I read a lot of Fed comments, right? I see a lot of Fed comments. Yeah, you know what I'm getting at there. And with that in mind, I'm noticing there's actually a lot of Feds that are, to Joe's point, being increasingly hawkish. Schmidt said today, we don't really have any reason to cut the September meeting. A lot of these Feds being a little bit more cautious. We had some Feds saying that actually these employment risks matter a lot more. Inflation matter more than employment risks, right? And then we have Feds Hammock saying, hey, we don't even really need to cut potentially in September. There's no case for it right now. Now, it seems like on the Trump administration side of things, not to get too political, but I think it's a valid point.
No, I don't get it.
We know that they want to cut rates because they just think inflation is down and Trump wants that 1% rate. He said that very clearly. But what is the reason for that? That is not so clear. They don't really have, specific data backing, whereas these Feds, you can say they're right, you can say they're wrong, you can say they're motivated, whatever.
Yeah.
But if they're not seeing data, I would trust they're not seeing data. Now, we have a couple that are saying, we could maybe have a basis for a cut, and that's fine because we have Bowman and Waller looking more at the employment side of things. So I think they actually still have an empirical standpoint for calling for cuts. Now, that being said, because the vast majority of the Fed does not seem to want a cut, I don't think we're going to get a cut, and I think overall inflation...
You don't think we're going to get a cut in September?
I don't think so. I honestly don't think so, and I think I'm shocked that the CME Fed Watch is pricing in a cut so heavily because the Fed does not seem they're not giving us any indication there will be a cut, and even the couple people that are maybe going to dissent from the vote, they're not going to be enough to move the needle.
When's the FOMC meeting, Adira?
That's September 17th.
So I don't think Jerome Powell wakes up alive on the 18th if he doesn't kind of play, of course.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask both of you guys this. Do you think if they decide not to cut, that it could be the Fed putting their foot down and saying, hey, we're not a political entity, and going in what Donald Trump would like them to do as a 25 basis point cut?
But I want to say one thing, too, that we know Elizabeth Warren has actually been pushing a lot for Jerome Powell to cut. So could you even make the argument that this is a bipartisan issue where not the entire Democratic Party, but certainly parts of the Democratic Party they're also calling for cuts? Whoever wants to take that.
No matter what they're going to do, they're going to get heat for it, and that's the reality of things. They're in a position where they cannot make a correct decision. Fed's boss even said today, as a Federal Reserve official, you have to be used to taking heat. So with that in mind, I think they're going to do what they think they should do, and they're going to accept the consequences because, as Fed boss says, that's what you have to be prepared for. Right?
Get it, Raphael.
Pardon?
I said, get it, Raphael.
Yeah, get it, Raphael Bostic. And so with that in mind, yeah, I think he's got a fair point. You have this job, you know you're in the public eye, you know you're going to get attacked. Are you always going to get attacked by the president of the U.S.? No, you're not. But that's who's getting at them right now. And so I think they're going to stick by their guns, and I think that's the right decision.
All right.
Can I make one last point? So people are talking a lot about homes. They want to own a home. They want to own a home.
Yeah.
So you get 25 base. It's a big, massive, big topic. All right. So if you get the 25 bip cut, what do you think that's going to do with the demand? And what happens when there's an increase in demand? Prices go up at the end of the day. All right. So for me personally, I was a former homeowner, sold it, but now I have to sit on my hands and wait and save up more money. And I think that's the case because
I don't think that's a bad thing. I think what I think is a lot of people want to put smaller down payments, and that obviously has a bit of an issue because you're financing more, so your monthly, So
to add to that point, don't you think that would be an over-leveraged consumer, something that we don't necessarily need at this time?
But if you put a larger down, your monthly payment is going to be substantially less, so you're not going to feel as much pressure, nor will the interest accrue as much.
Yeah. So I thought you said smaller down payment.
That's what people want to do, but it's not the right thing.
And that's what I'm getting at. That would be an over-leveraged consumer, and that's not something that you necessarily want. So for me personally, it's like you get that 25 basis point cut, but then think about how many people have the exact same mentality as you. Oh, okay, now I can get my foot into the housing market, but what is that going to do for demand?
Exactly. We got a super chat here, $5 super chat, Canadian. Adara is literally the GOAT. I have loved seeing her evolution over the past few years, and she is just a stone cold killer. Get it, Adara. There you go. You're getting a bunch of love there in the chat. Shout out to, sorry, I can't even tell this person's name.
Thank you.
Ali Anwar, 4663. Shout out to Ali.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for the kind words and for the support. And go market. And thanks to the awesome community.
Get it. All right, let's go on to this story. This kind of continues the Fed talk here. So the Federal Housing Finance Agency, the FHFA, the director of the agency called Bill Polt, accused Lisa Cook, who is an FOMC member, of mortgage fraud, alleging she claimed 2 properties, one in Michigan, one in Georgia, as her primary residence simultaneously. Polt said Cook should resign quickly or be fired, sending a criminal referral letter to the Department of Justice. President Trump amplified the pressure, posting on social media that Cook must resign now. Triple exclamation point. Cook, for her part, she responded. She pushed back, stating she has no intention of being bullied into stepping down. She noted the allegations stem from a mortgage application 4 years before she joined the Fed and said she is gathering documents to address legitimate questions. You should be able to answer them. But in any event, let's see how she does. Central bank governors can only be removed for cause. That's a legal term under the Federal Reserve Act, generally interpreted as serious misconduct. While Polt suggested Fed Chair Jerome Powell could act to fire Cook, the actual legal standard is only the president has the legal authority to remove a Fed governor. And earlier this year, Joey, the Supreme Court indicated the president cannot arbitrarily remove governors over policy disagreements, complicating Trump's stance. What do you make of the story?
Fire her. You can't lie and falsify documents. At the end of the day, you committed fraud.
Are we dodging the elephant? Okay, you got a valid point. But are we dodging the elephant in the room here, which is she's a Biden appointee. She voted against rate cuts, and now there's a story, whether it's valid or not, Joey. I mean, it could be valid, right? Does it play into that broader context is kind of what I'm putting.
Yeah, I think it does at the end of the day, right? It has to, because as you mentioned, Biden appointee, Trump didn't put her in office. But for me personally, it's end of story. You committed fraud, you falsified documents, your job's done.
And isn't this very similar to the exaggeration of his property, the Mar-a-Lago, to get a loan from a bank where there were, Letitia James, I think she was the one prosecuting that, the New York Attorney General. So we'll have to see how this all works out. Obviously, she's not the president. So Adara, this is an interesting story. I know you have comments. I want to hear them.
I have lots to say. So yeah, I do think that you can't really address this situation without talking about the elephant in the room. And I also want to talk about her primary accuser here because I think he deserves to be discussed. Bill Pulte, a man who just 1 minute ago on X posted, "Oh, so-and-so is so much smarter than so-and-so," talking about two X personalities and financial analysts. This man loves Twitter beef, for lack of a better term. That is what Bill Pulte specializes in. This is the same man that also said, "Oh, hearing lots of reports that Powell is going to step down," and yet it turns out those reports stemmed from, drumroll please, Bill Pulte himself. He made up the whole thing. So I think the source is very worried.
So should we question the veracity of the allegations because of his history?
I think we at the very least should take a harder look at them. I can't even find these mortgage applications. I was going to read through them. You guys know what I'm like.
Yeah.
I can't even find the documents. So if I can find the documents, I'll read through them and give you guys my honest opinion. I'm going to try to continue to locate those. But I think given the source, who this is coming from, Bill Pulte, I would give it a very hard side eye, a very strong eyebrow raise confusion. The other thing, too, with regards to what you said about it being a political move.
Yep.
I was just reading here, apparently, if Trump can kind of whittle down this board through, in terms of the board of governors, like whose position is going to end during his tenure, he could flip this to be majority Trump appointees. Now, we know that's what happened. I'm not trying to get too political here, but with the Supreme Court, he ended up being able to get the governors, which again, these are the larger people here on the outside. The people within are the Fed Reserve Bank presidents, but I'm talking about the 7 people on the outside, so the chair and the 6 governors. So with that in mind, Trump could actually, if Cook actually steps down, he could be able to get a majority Trump-appointed board with the Supreme Court that ended up happening, and it worked in his favor, right? So I think there is a political element here that I think we should address. That being said, if Lisa Cook did do the thing she's being accused of doing, that is very bad. I'm in no way excusing her, but I think the context of this is massively important.
Yeah, absolutely. And she also she said, word for word, to address legitimate questions. So she's not dismissing, for her part, the allegations outright. Typically, somebody who's innocent, and you never really want to point the finger until you've gotten all the facts, but typically innocent people defend themselves from the get-go.
Yes, and that's why I want all the facts before I comment on whether she did it.
And hold on, how are you trying to get mortgage documents? Are they public record?
I don't know, but if I want to find out where people found things, I want to see the evidence he's seeing, because again, we know that he made up claims of Powell reportedly resigning, so that's why I want to be very careful.
All right.
Let me cover a couple things here,
go ahead, brother.
So T2 Sertil, sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, $2 super chat. Thank you very much. But then you didn't put anything behind it. Following that, we have best trading by the exact same individual, T2 Sertil. Best trading show ever. Been here since I started my journey in 2022. And that gets a lot of likes. You're going to get the bangs. I'm going to like all these super chats here because Casey gave us a couple skeebies to put it all up in there. Once again, thank you all very much. And T2 Sertelli, thank you, my friend.
All right, let's go on to the next story. We don't have much. This is a DeepSeek story. So apparently, they're trying to use different chips for their flagship model. Doesn't look like it's working out that well. So they did release version 3.1 of their flagship AI model designed with optimization for Chinese-made chips. So they're not, according to this article, they're not using the H20 or the H100s that they don't have. Signaling alignment with Beijing's push, obviously, for tech self-sufficiency amid U.S. export restrictions. The upgrade leverages their precision format, enabling better performance on their next generation domestic chips. So it looks like they're trying to optimize their LLM, the large language model, for these Huawei Ascend chips. The new PF8 format allows faster processing, lower memory usage, and it makes the models more efficient compared to traditional formats. Version 3.1 introduces a hybrid inference structure that can switch between reasoning and non-reasoning tasks. You're already seeing that in ChatGPT and a lot of these other models, so this is kind of late to the game. A deep thinking button has also been put into their app, and web platforms enable users to toggle between the modes. Again, kind of catching up because we've been having these reasoning versions of the models on a lot of them. Starting September 6th, you're going to be able to adjust their on September 6th, they're going to adjust their API pricing, impacting developers. If you want to know what they're talking about, they're open source, but open source to an extent. Otherwise, you've got to pay for that, much like the Meta form with Llama. So let's maybe, not really talk as much about the options here as much maybe as the fact that DeepSeek which is one of China's main large language generative AIs, is using these domestic chips for the first time, which we know they didn't do before.
I mean, like, let's pull back up on that DeepSeek news. We know, so you would know more of this, but I remember they're having trouble with the Huawei, so they were using it more for inference. Is that not correct?
Yes, that's correct.
To training?
Yes.
So instead of training, and now they're having more issues. But I remember when this DeepSeek news first came up, they were making these LLMs at the fraction of the cost on what some of these hyperscalers were spending their money on. For me personally, it might be all smoke and mirrors at the end of the day.
All right, Adara, what do you make of this DeepSeek story finally using some Chinese chips? Is it overblown? Are we still going to see NVIDIA selling up a storm in China?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the end, I'll say the same thing I always say about these China-U.S. stories. We are at a crossroads until something changes in a fundamental way with, China being more comfortable using some of these U.S. chips and or the U.S., being a little less skeptical of China. I think we're going to have the same debates. And yeah, honestly, I've been spending this time trying to look into this Lisa Cook thing. So that's what I'm going to say on that. I'm still
keep us updated on that, whatever you find. I know you're going to do a deep dive. All right, guys, it is 2:01 and change. It's time to send you to that big boy show. They're over there. Joey Options and I will be back in again tomorrow. Same back time
to take a trek across the GTA and go and get the old MRI on the knee ski.
I'm sorry, bro. This guy's got all sorts of appointments all over Toronto. This guy's going to be gallivanting and escapading.
I'll be going.
Around.
It's like going back to Chicago and back essentially when I'm driving.
All right, guys, it's been real. Send you over to the big boy. See you tomorrow.